favorite Pokemon shapes.
Quality speaks.
Created for young readers.
All right. Take us away, my friend.
Welcome to the Broccoli and Tomato Cast, your place for all your news, reviews, video games, movies, messed up. Back up. Okay. Welcome to the Broccoli and Tomato Cast, the place for all your news, reviews for video games, movies, comics, and other things pop culture. My name is Tomoto. I'm one of your co-hosts, and my other co-host is here, Broccoli. How's it going, man?
Oh, what's going, dude? How we doing today?
Not bad, not bad. Just chilling. Went and visited some family yesterday and finished up some Christmas shopping and stuff. So that's finally all taken care of, so we can finally relax.
Nice. The stress of the holidays is partly over.
Yeah, we had a lot of it done already, like taken care of. We just needed to get a few things for Finn and stocking stuffers. We went and visited my pap, and we took down his Christmas present and visited him for a little bit.
Nice.
So it was a pretty good day overall.
Excellent.
Pretty busy.
Very good. Yeah, I agree with that. It hasn't been holiday stuff, but work has just been crazy. I've been putting in hours.
Right. Plus, everyone's out shopping, so then they're going out to eat while they're out. And
Oh yeah. Every day's been like double fold at the restaurant coming up. I'm sure probably a little bit afterwards too, and then January will be the slow time.
Yeah.
But it's been good.
I only got to work 2 days, and then I'm off for Christmas. I got actually off, so that should be a good time.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised you got that.
Yeah, where they put a thing in every year to like request out of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day. It's a request if you want to be off or not.
Right.
Like other people like bid for it, kind of deal. You kind of rank from number 1 to 3, from which one you want off the most to the least, and then they'll tell you what you got. And they gave me all 3 off. So
Jesus, I guess people are probably saving it for New Year's.
Yeah, they don't need a lot. It gets real busy on days like that. Real slow.
Yeah.
But on top of that, there's a lot of people that work at my job that like working on holidays for the extra money. So because not only can you request to be off, but you can offer to work if you're already off. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I'll work holidays if I don't got anything going on. Everybody at work was freaking out about New Year's. And I was like, I'll work New Year's. They're like, really? Yeah. They're like, what, you know life? I was like, yeah. What else am I going to do? Yeah. Go out to the bar, drink, watch, whatever, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was single, I'd probably maybe do it. Probably, I don't know.
You got a little bit more to do on those times, Yeah. So it's fair.
So, yeah, should be a good time. We were really stoked. We got like my pap's old. It's just him there now after my grand passed last year. But he doesn't need anything, We were like having such a hard time figuring out what to get him for Christmas. And Sarah was like, we should get him one of those digital picture frames.
Oh, yeah, those are awesome.
It looks just like a picture frame.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is, obviously you can upload pictures to it, and it's like a slideshow, and they'll change.
Yeah.
But you can, if you have the app, you can send pictures to it whenever you want.
Oh, that's sick.
So we shared the information with like my aunt and getting it passed around to my uncles and everything like that. And we all live we live far from my pap. Yeah. My aunt lives in Virginia. My uncle's in Tennessee. My dad's closer, but we gave everyone the information so everyone could just send pictures to my pap's frame whenever. So he's like always seeing what everyone's up to and the newest pictures. He was really, really happy about it.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I'm gonna look into that. I didn't know they had like apps and stuff that you could do.
Yeah, dude. Most of them there goes for it. We got ours. It's an on brand, like that Walmart brand, but like my pap sold, so the brand doesn't really matter. But it was only $66.
Oh, that ain't bad.
And anyone who has the app can send pictures to the frame because it connects to the Wi-Fi to whenever they want. It's like we were sitting there and we sent the information to my aunt, and we're sitting there, we hear a ding, and we look up and a picture of my aunt, my uncle uploaded to it. So with my pap not being around the whole family all the time, it was nice for him to be able to see that. He was stoked.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. My pap's not really like share my feelings kind of guy.
Fair.
And he's like learning texting. He texts me later on. He's like, best Christmas present ever.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
And I was like, holy shit.
I got a text.
Never heard him say anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he really appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then looking forward to for Finn and Sarah to open their Christmas presents up on Christmas.
Well, speaking of which, Do you want to segue in the beginning and kind of talk about ours? Talk a little Christmas before we get into this?
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and do into that. Well, this isn't going to be like a whole Christmas themed episode, but we want to do a little bit of a Christmas something since this comes out a couple days before Christmas. So I thought it would be fun to do a little talk about some of our favorite Christmas movies, favorite memories from Christmas, and if there's your favorite present that you've ever gotten. I just thought that would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, if you want to, we can go one by one for each of them. Then we'll talk about it.
I figured we'd start with a lot of people love like Christmas and Christmas movies and stuff like that, and watch the same movies every year is like a tradition. So I figured we could talk a little bit about what our favorite Christmas movies are. If you want to go first.
Sure. Well, for the normal people out there, I would say A Christmas Story is definitely one of my top. I always related to that movie because watching that kid just fumble through that whole movie over and over again was pretty much me as a child.
Yeah.
I literally I watched that movie, went to elementary school the next day, and convinced someone to put their tongue on a pole. Like 100%. True story. It was about time I got in trouble for it.
Yeah.
But it worked.
That one's on my list too.
Okay, fair enough.
I love that is actually my favorite Christmas movie. Okay. I would refuse to watch it until Christmas Day when it's marathon. And I would be one of the kid. I was always excited, and I'd wake up way before my parents would.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to fucking sit around,
right? Just wait
my presents.
Yeah.
But what I would do every year is I'd wake up early and go down, put on Christmas Story, and I would just watch it because I'd fall asleep a little bits here and there, and then so I'd just watch it over and over until my parents got up.
Fucking Red Rocket, dude.
Yeah.
I've always wanted one of those lamps. I see them floating around every once in a while.
Yeah.
But
they're always like smaller.
Yeah. Not like a full legitimate lamp. One. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that probably wouldn't be too hard to make. You just get like a mannequin leg and hollow it, and that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. For sure.
But my personal as a kid was always Die Hard and Nightmare Before Christmas. And I know those are controversial, takes on that, but that's just what it is. Those are the movies I watch.
Yeah, Die Hard's on my list as well. That is 100
as it should be,
and 50% a Christmas movie. Fun fact: my wife does not agree with that. She will go to the grave if it is not a Christmas movie. She will argue with it. So when you come over later,
we're talking about it.
Yeah,
dude. There's a Christmas tree in the main lobby. The whole reason all the people are there are for a Christmas party.
Yeah.
And there's an advent calendar made to represent it of homie falling out of the window. So old Hans Gruber dying is an advent calendar for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to tell you. Hallmark accepts it. I accept it. That's all that matters.
It is a Christmas action movie. Even though it's an action movie, it still counts.
It is America. And Christmas is America.
That's I try to watch that and another one on my list I'll talk about later. I always have to at least try to watch them both on Christmas Eve. So I'll just say it. Die Hard and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, dude, that's a good one.
Those two.
Okay.
I watch on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, my other one's I just said it Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah. But dude, National Lampoon's. I need to go back through those. They're so good.
Yeah.
I've never been like a massive Chevy Chase fan, but those like that time period specifically of those movies were fucking awesome.
Yeah, as a human being, he fucking blows. But back then,
these
movies were awesome.
I unfortunately learned that through watching what was it called? Community college or community? Just community, right? Yeah. And it was really good. And then his character got really weird. And then once I finished it and looked into it after he wasn't on it anymore, I was like, wow, he's actually a weird dickhole.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I just want to touch base a little bit on Nightmare Before Christmas. I think I full-heartedly agree that is a Christmas and a Halloween movie. You can watch that twice.
Yeah, that's what makes it so great.
I used to really like it, and like I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, so like getting to the Nightmare Before Christmas level was always awesome.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Nightmare Before Christmas has been ruined for me by all the Hot Topic neck beards and stuff. They like,
oh yeah,
that's how I felt like for Deadpool for a while. Like the weirdos, the edgelords, like adopted a Nightmare Before Christmas. So like they're always wearing like the beanie with like Jack Skellington's head on it and stuff like that. I'm not saying you are an edgelord for liking it.
Yeah.
Or anything. I do think that, like I said, the movie's awesome, but it's just been rooting to me from all that.
No, I get it. A lot of things have been taken that route in recent times, but it's just for me personally, I just watched it as a kid. It's not something that I adopt as part of my,
personality,
edginess. Yeah. It's just, I love Jack Skellington. The boogie, the boogeyman, like he became, as a kid, he became like the personification of the boogeyman. Like for me, like when someone says the boogeyman, I think of him, and it's just, and it just did something. I don't know. So it just kind of like stayed there. It's like watching Mufasa die all over again, just no matter how old you are, it just brings it back.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I love that movie.
I will say real quick though, sorry. Mm-hmm. The only thing that disappoints me about that movie is that they had such a setup to continue those movies. Because, when they're in the scene, they're trying to find the right tree to go through and all that. And they show all the different holidays. And I really thought they were going to maybe eventually dive into that, but they just never did.
Yeah. Maybe eventually. They're like, which I'll get into a little bit later when I've been watching. They like to bring stuff back even if they don't need to.
Yeah. And that will be one of them. They don't need to do it. Like, don't please, gods, don't do it, unless it was good. But it's just a thought that I've always had throughout life.
Mm. The other thing I would think of that I always have to watch every year too is the Home Alone movies.
Yeah.
I might be blasphemous in saying I prefer Home Alone 2 over
Holy
the first
fuck,
one.
Dude.
But here's the thing. When I was a kid, that was the first one I saw. I didn't see the original for years when I was growing up. But I do love them both, and I want to watch both.
They are good. They are really good. They were, again, another movie that, took place with a kid doing kid things in a very adult situation. And it's good. I actually saw, I don't know where it was, but I saw people talking about it, and they were talking about real world situations with the movie and saying how terrible the parents are and this and that and how much money he spent when he was in the hotel and the second one and all that. Just just leave that alone, please. Why are you even diving into that? It's a movie. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And people were arguing about it. It was pretty interesting.
Thought about it, to be honest. Different. I've done the math on all those pizzas they get delivered in the first or second one. It doesn't make sense for when that movie came out. But
he also has a girlfriend that's 35 at the time. So that's a whole different process too.
Yeah.
Well, not a girlfriend, but you know what I mean. In the context of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. But I absolutely love those movies. They're all classics. All those need. I've been kind of throwing in Krampus too. I don't know if you've watched that. That's the guy that made the Trick or Treat movie did a Christmas one with Adam Scott from Parks and Rec in it.
Yep.
I think it's not as good as Trick or Treat, but if I think about it, there might be a new one getting thrown into the list. I just bought it last night. I haven't watched it yet, but Terrifier 3.
Oh, okay.
Because it is technically a Christmas movie. He's dressed as Santa in this thing.
Yes.
So I haven't watched it yet. I'm looking forward to it, but I might have to add that into the rotation because there's not a lot of great horror themed Christmas movies.
That's fair. Yeah, I can't really, off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything that's horror based except for Nightmare Before Christmas, and that's not even really horror based, but it floats in the genre a little bit.
Yeah, there's a few. They're not great. Some of them are bad good.
Yeah.
But not a lot of great ones. Yeah. But we'll see. Any other movies you want to bring up before we move along?
No, we can scoot.
Okay. All right. Next thing I wanted to talk about is what's your best Christmas memories? What are some things from the years at Christmas that you'll always remember that you thought were awesome?
Well, it sucks because I was gonna look for the picture because I literally have a picture that represents the actual memory, but that would have taken forever to find it because I pack rat everything away and I'd have to go through boxes. But I can't. I mean, saying what it is, I guess, dates me. I can't remember the exact date, but is when I got my Game Boy Color. That was a moment that was really great. And I can close my eyes and see it now, which is very rare for me personally, because I do forget a lot of things because of, the ADD and all the abuse I put my brain through over the past 30 some years. But I was sitting on the couch. I grabbed my first present. I could tell the size of it, the dimensions of it, what was about to be in there. because it was, Game Boy back then, you only had so much that you could get in terms of like video games and this and that. So like you saw those packaged dimensions, you knew what something was coming. And I grabbed that thing first, and it was my purple Game Boy Color, and I freaked out. And because I saw that, I saw the other small ones, and I just started like going fucking crazy, as a little kid. And our French bulldog Rudy at the time, was just sitting there next to me, just covered in all this wrapping paper and just staring up at me like, I know, bro. He's like, yes, we're so excited. Like it was a weird moment, and it was awesome. My mom's just sitting there all giddy, like watching it. I have a very vivid Mona Lisa painting of that memory. So hopefully that stays locked in forever.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've definitely had a few. Like I've had a few of those. Like where I got my Game Boy Advance for Christmas, my indigo purple Game Boy dude. Matched my indigo purple GameCube.
Yep.
When I got my first Game Boy Color, I didn't get it for Christmas, but I get the excitement for sure.
Yeah, that was always the moment. My mom would wait like for a holiday or something. I'd be like, I really want that. I really want that. Yeah. But I was always a creature of, it comes in with the collecting, now, always held on to things for a long time. So I was never like a kid that just broke shit all the time and stuff. So like she was always able to, push it into a certain point, because I never like begged for things or anything like that. I was just happy with what I had.
Yeah.
So, but when it came, and I would lose my mind,
Yeah, that is a core memory for sure. As far as mine's a little bit not specific. It's just in general, not to get like bummed down or anything, but my parents split up when I was young and stuff like that. But my favorite memory, or I guess I'd say memories, is back when my parents were together. It was me, my dad, my stepmom, my brother, our animals. We all, were still together Christmas mornings, and then we would always go down to my gram, which I mentioned earlier, she passed, but down to my grandma and pap's house and have dinner there and open more presents. And then after that, we'd go to my stepmom's parents' house and see the aunts and uncles and cousins. It's like a fun filled day of seeing everyone and having such a good time. I miss those times so much. Definitely the best memories for sure.
Yeah, we did a lot of that too. And I was lucky because my grandparents pretty much, my mom's side lived like literally right down the street.
Yeah.
So it was just a hop and a skip away. So that was always nice. But that was pretty much all holidays. We did our thing, in the beginning, and then we walked down to their house and then did it again. And then every once in a while we would go up into Pennsylvania. I'm originally from Maryland, for anyone who's listening. Then we'd drive up to Pennsylvania, see my other grandparents and cousins and uncle and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, my dad would make French toast Christmas morning too. So we'd wake up, they'd get their coffee ready. I'd start open my stocking, open my presents. Then my brother was eventually involved. We'd have French toast, get ready, go down to my grandma Pap's, do the whole thing there. And my grandma always went real hard on Christmas, like had all the decorations up, and I associate her house with Christmas a lot. So and then going to my nana's after that, and my cousin up there, and it was just nostalgic.
Yeah, we were a pancake household.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pancakes came out, and my dad wasn't ever like a big cook per se or anything like that in the kitchen, but the pancakes, dude, they're the best. I don't know what he did to them, or does to them, because he still does it, but they're always the best. I don't know. I can't even do it myself. I don't know what he does, but I've never asked. I just kind of left it always as that like special, treat type of thing.
Yeah. So the French toast was usually for special occasions. It was usually Christmas and like my birthday. That was good. And then last thing, I guess it would be it's not what's important to Christmas, but like a big part of Christmas is presents and getting presents and stuff like that. What would you say your best Christmas present you ever got was?
N64.
N64?
100%.
Oh yeah.
Right when I got that fucker, I played it all day, every day. GoldenEye changed my life. That was the first shooter, PvP shooter, and it was the best. It got to the point I eventually later in life. Oh, sorry. I did kids camp counseling. Fun fact. I did that for a couple of years, and it got to a point where I would treat the kids if they did well. I would bring in GoldenEye, and they would play. So I got to like show it to generation like
yeah.
past me and stuff, and use it as like a good deed thing, and
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I never, other than the Game Boy Advance, I've never gotten like a console for Christmas. That was always like a birthday thing. Like I got my PlayStation, my GameCube, my Xbox. So I always got them on my birthday.
Yeah. Well, it was. I mean, I'm not my parents, but I assume, because me and my brother are 6 years apart, or my middle brother, and I mean, we were still close enough when we were younger. He was still in the games. I was getting into games, so it always turned into the nighttime thing. Everyone opened presents. We did the family thing. We would sit there and itch in a corner, and then we'd get back home and jam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was just good memory unlocks. Dude, South Park. I was at a young age really addicted to South Park, which is probably for the worst. But I forget what it was called, but when it first dropped on N64, and I played the tar out of that game. If there was like 100% completion things in games back then, that would have been probably my first one.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So
yeah, that's sick. I remember mine. Mario 64 was my favorite N64 game.
See, I was very niche, and when it came to games with Nintendo, I was never really into like Super Mario Brothers, Super Nintendo, NES, and all that kind of stuff. Sure, but for some reason, I just never continued. 64, kart, all that never really hit me.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
The big ones were Mario 64, Star Fox 64.
Yeah, Star Fox.
Mario Kart 64, and obviously GoldenEye. Those were the four big ones.
Yeah, GoldenEye was nonstop also.
And
that was such a good game.
WCW versus NWO.
Oh, dude.
That was also.
Oh, you just broke my brain.
Top 5.
I would literally freak out going to Pennsylvania knowing that once I got to my uncle's house, me and my cousin would that's the only game we played, period. Like, that was it. Nothing else. He had racks of games, and never. We just, dude, NWO all day.
Like, I'm not even like, I've never been a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I just really liked that game. It was just a lot of fun.
It was one of those games that just like, it came out and it was perfect. Like, it wasn't weird. It doesn't feel dated. I think about it sometimes. I saw it in the store. Next time we go to cartridges, I'm probably going to pick it up just for the pure fact.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was one of those games. I never played a wrestling game after that. I never played one before that. It was that joint came out. I was really addicted to NWO. Like, that was my whole thing. Like, the whole New World Order, Kevin Nash, dude, Sting, like those, they'll live forever in my memories for sure.
100%. Yep. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. And then I actually have two. There are two for two specific reasons. One is my bike. I got a Mongoose BMX bike with pegs on the front and the back for Christmas one year.
Were you a Dave Mirra guy?
What's that?
Were you a Dave Mirra game guy?
Oh yeah. I love those games. And I had like obviously everyone knows what tech decks are, but there was also another toy set that it was BMX, and that actually came with little figures that would go on the bike. And like I had Dave Mirra, Ryan Nyquist, like all them.
Yep.
But yeah, I use, like, I've skateboarded, but I also BMX biked for a little while too. That Mongoose, dude, I got so much use out of that. Like, I was everywhere, all over the city with that thing. It was like one of those. I didn't even ask for a bike, and I just
it just happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It came
Changed your life.
Was already put together and had a bow on it.
Sick. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fun fact with me: never officially learned how to ride a bike.
Really?
Yeah. I have one memory. My brother tried teaching me, or I was just riding with him in general, and I went down and never. I picked up a skateboard shortly after and just kind of went with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did the whole like dirt ramps and
nice
street ride and all that kind of stuff. It was. I love biking.
See, I always had like things happen in life that either made me run towards it or run away from it. And biking was always that one that like made me run away, because a lot of my friends did a lot of that kind of stuff. Once we got to the extreme, version of our childhood, not me. They built all the ramps and did all the things. We were behind a Best Buy. It was like kind of in the woods. And that sounds weird, but like where my friend's house was, like there's this area that they eventually built like a, dirt bike, trail or whatever. Dude,
blow your mind. That is not weird. That's how it was everywhere.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, there was like 3 places in my city, and they were all just in a random place in the woods, wherever it could be built. Okay. Behind the Lowe's, across the creek behind a AutoZone, and
Right.
then just one, just like where there was like a random woods in the
Right.
middle of like
There's
part of
always
the
a
city.
spot, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's how it was everywhere.
and I would always sit there on the side and, you know, watch them do their thing because I never really rode bikes. And my one buddy, I will never forget this, no matter how dementia ridden my brain was. It was, it- I feel terrible saying it was funny, but because to me on the sidelines, it was funny. It was like watching a NASCAR crash, but he's going to do this ramp and he had a different kind of bike. I don't know what the difference. Like they had like BMX bikes and he had like a dirt bike or something, like a dirt like made for like dirt trails, or I don't know what the difference was, but it was heavier. And before he went off, they were like, make sure you level the bike. It's gonna like, you know, move to one side and you're gonna have to like reposition in the air. He's like, yeah, I got it, no problem. Goes off this ramp, completely fucks it up, comes down flat, puts his leg down first, and just snapped his leg in half. Oh, dude, I could see it as I say it. And we're sitting there like everyone's freaking out. His foot's like completely, you know, a different way than it should be. And we call the cops and, you know, the ambulances and stuff, and they come. And I'm sitting there trying to give him water. And I don't know if this is a shout out to me being a bad friend in past times, but I'm trying to give him water while these paramedics are like trying to help him. And he keeps pushing me away. He's like, stop trying to give me vodka. And I turned around, I'm like, yo, there's no vodka. I swear to God. Like, because cops are looking at us. We're like 16 years old, you know? I'm like, I swear, we're not drunk. I gave him the water bottle. And he's like, it is water. Your friend's trying to give you water. I was like, oh, thank God. Like, you know, like, it was a interesting situation. And then ever since then, I was like, nope, fuck a bike. I ain't doing that because I will be the next one to hurt myself. Yeah. Because I'm always the one that hurts myself.
Oh, yeah. I fucked myself up many times on my bike.
Not that skating was any better.
Yeah.
I've done some gnarly shit on a skateboard, but
it's just different kinds of fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like full body. I was always weird about like, even today with like motorcycles and stuff, I prefer a car. I still do insane things in the car, but the whole perceptive of like, me being around, like surrounding the thing, or me being inside the thing, you know, so that I always just kind of like, because I have a bunch of friends I've gone down in motorcycles and stuff. And I'm like, you're surrounding the thing and you're going like 120 miles an hour. Like, I don't, nah, I'm good. I'll take my chance surrounded by the metal, you know, so.
Hell yeah.
So far I've been right.
Yeah.
I haven't gone down in a car yet.
Oh yeah. So that was a big one. The one another one I wanted to talk about, and this was the reason I will talk about this last, because this explained a lot about me. It was Christmas, normal Christmas one year. It was a big, like a pretty big, large size present. I unwrap it, and it's like this cardboard box that looks like a treasure chest. I'm like,
okay,
not wondering what this is. I open it up. It was filled with comics.
Oh my God, dude!
It was like one of those pre-packaged boxes of comics that you could buy at a store or whatever.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember those actually.
It had Power Rangers comics in it. Actually, had the first issue of Power Rangers, which I wish I still had. I don't know if you remember the Pit. It was like a couple different Image comics. I forget what all was in there, but specifically, I do remember the Power. It was a lot of the Power Rangers. And that's what got me on the comics originally back in the day. That was my first ever comics.
Oh wow, that was like a surprise thing.
Yeah,
that wasn't like an ask for thing.
Like, oh, I think Matt would like this, and because I would watch like the X-Men cartoon and Spider-Man, so like they knew I liked superheroes.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my first like personal comics in my collection.
Here we are.
And ever since, dude. Yep, here we are, hundreds of thousands and thousands of comics later, dude. I'll never forget that.
It's funny, like, I mean, probably gonna sound stupid, like, and obvious, but it is funny. You know, you go through life and then like just this one thing happens and the trajectory is just completely set, you know, to a whole nother thing. And it's interesting how that happens, because if you never got that treasure chest, you know, who knows?
Yeah,
who you would have become.
Right. And then not long after that, somehow I acquired the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures #1. And it's like, because I like Turtles too, and then. I remember getting some Iron Man stuff, and then eventually, like, I was always in the Transformers and found a comic book store that my dad would go to because he collect Hot Wheels cars. So it was kind of like a general collectible store.
Right.
He had comics, and I found out that there was Transformers comics and RoboCop comics, you know, so I started getting those, and it just
the black hole started
from there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's strange to me. And it's funny also because you kind of were the outlet into me getting into comics, and I've always loved the IPs that had comics or started as comics, but I never knew that. Like Turtles and Transformers and all that, I was oblivious to the fact that comics were even a thing. But I had all the toys, I had all the bed sheets and all the paraphernalia that came with them. So it's interesting to think about that sometimes. Because again, like if we never became, closer friends and all that kind of stuff, I probably still wouldn't, know those kind of things. And
Right.
it's been a nice addition to know. Not for the wallet, but for
Yeah.
my memories.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, you made a good point. It's like crazy that one thing that happens in your life that's forever going to be a part of it.
Just
So,
sticks.
and I had to been like 7 or 8 years. Like I was young, and that's all it took. That one box of comics that my parents thought I would like one year, and then
that was Pokemon for me. Like the games were cool and stuff, but then when I got a little bit older and I was able to get like allowance money, and things like that, and there's a little store which is now just breaking my brain thinking about it because it's kind of the same thing that happened to me with the Japanese stuff. So I went there, I found out that they had Pokemon cards and this and that and whatever. So we started buying cards. Me and my friends all got into cards. The first pack I ever bought was a base set. All the kids were like literally a line of kids to get these cards. We're all just sitting there and they would like open the booster, how they still do it. They put the booster box up on the counter. You could buy a pack or two or whatever, saved up my money, got a couple packs. First pack I opened literally had a Charizard in it.
Yeah.
And that just fucking destroyed me forever. It was the closest thing I could find to a gambling addiction. And I was hooked. And then the next day I went back and he had Japanese cards. And I was like, what are these? Like, and they're like, oh, well, they're the same cards, but the original cards. Like, and that was it. I didn't give a shit about American cards or like any of that. And it turned into this whole thing, which now you've gotten to see getting closer with me, how much I personally enjoy the Japanese variants of things because that's where they came from, So it's like, it's kind of like, because everyone talks about first edition things and like first printing of this or that. To me, that's the first printing, past our country or like worldwide or whatever. And it turned into a collection, which I got a couple of things I'm going to show you. But it's just, I don't know. It's funny. One or two things just stick on the wall and they just keep with you forever.
Yep. And I'll always remember getting that. So, but yeah. Anything else related to Christmas that you wanted to talk about at all before we move on to other things?
No, not really. I mean, it's just a good time, a year. I've had a lot of like negative things that have happened throughout my life through winter.
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, but it's one of those times that like once you're in the moment, it kind of just supersedes that. You kind of forget about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you get to like enjoy the time, that you have around. Especially, you were saying like, your parents were split and this and that. And so those memories of having everyone together, is a good memory for you, even though there's bad things. And now you have a family of your own and you can rebuild some of those memories. So
I was just telling Sarah, I'm going to get stuff for French toast so I can make French toast after we open presents on Christmas.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're the dad in the moment and you get to build those for Finn.
Yeah. And we're going to go to to her mom's house, and her brother and sister and fiancés and stuff are going to be there, and we'll have dinner there and do Secret Santa. And so start new traditions.
Good. Well, I'm glad I get to be part of one of those this time.
Yeah. Secret Santa's going to be sick this year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, other than that, I guess we'll move on to the main stuff.
Yeah, we can get into it.
Anything, I know we're going to be getting into a lot of stuff that we've been playing and watching and things like that in the main topics, like full reviews and impressions. Yeah. But anything recent that you've been playing or watching, just wanted to quickly touch on?
Yeah, well, I got another package in recently from Japan.
Yeah.
Fun fact, as we were saying. One of the things I wanted to show you on camera is this Game Boy case. Check that dude out, too.
Very sick.
It's not too terribly faded. It's not bad. The price I got it for is unreal.
Late 80s, early 90s for sure.
Yeah. And one thing, I know it's stupid, and it might just seem weird. I don't know. But I always love it because they always have things like this. It's like stickers from kids that had it, stuff like that. But it's all anime and things of that nature. So it kind of touches like somewhere special because it was someone, it was a kid that owned it.
Yeah.
And it's a kid that I would never know about or, anything like that, So it's just interesting being able to collect things that people also cherished in a whole different part of this, planet. And it just makes me feel a little closer,
Yeah, and there's something specific about video game stuff, and as far as that kind of things go, because like you see like a lot, like
the whole carrying case and everything.
Oh
It's
yeah,
sick. It has
that
the
is so
inserts.
awesome. Yeah.
And then I opened it, and I didn't know. It was a little sneak. It had all the manuals for the games that came with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's just one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. What I was going to say was that's just kind of cool, specifically with games. Like I watch a lot of videos of people buying used games or like me getting used games here and there.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'll find like people wrote notes from the game they were playing in like the notes section. Or you'll find like a little, like they drew the character on a piece of paper and tucked it away in the manual. And, or like, I personally take these off, but like old stickers of the prices, you can see how much these things were years ago, or like stores that are debunked, like Circuit City sticker, like, or Blockbuster on this.
Yeah.
Sticker
It feels good.
Yeah. It feels like it has a history to it.
Yeah. Right. Like, this actually went through people's hands and, people own this and played with it and enjoyed it.
You find that with comics too. Sometimes like kids will like practice the writing on the cover or like, thought that if they colored with marker on this character on this page, it would look better. Like just different stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I have another thing that you'll appreciate as a figure person. So I got this. This came in. SolidWorks. It's a statue. Super Saiyan Gohan. Super Saiyan Gohan. But what's that? It's Super a gamble. Saiyan. You can get one or the other.
Oh.
I did not know that.
So it's either Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2?
Yeah. There's no printing. The boxes are the same. Yeah. I've looked it up before. And to my surprise, my favorite character was fucking in it. Super Saiyan 2.
Oh, hell yeah.
So tough.
Oh, yeah.
It's clean.
That's rad. I need to get myself a Gohan. I have a Goku figure. I need a Gohan.
It's so good. And as a Gohan fan, it's really funny because I don't have any like true statues of him. So I saw it and I finally had to grab it. And I was like, yeah, I love Super Saiyan 1. And sure shit, it was the SS2 variant.
That's awesome.
I was really stoked on that.
Dude, the Japanese are real into their, even like that's such a minimal gotcha, but like the fact that there's small chance it could be something different, adds something to it, I think.
Yeah, it just every time I see something like that, it ignites that memory I just talked about at that game store. And I just like freak out, like I just got Charizard all over again. And as an adult, sometimes that can be kind of goofy. And like even myself, I'll laugh at myself sometimes. And I'm like, I really shouldn't care about it, but I do. It's that thing that's stuck on the wall, and here we are. Yeah. But if those things never stuck on the wall, I'd have never met you because I never played video games.
Yeah,
maybe would have never moved to Pennsylvania again. This podcast would never be a thing. There's a lot of things that trickled down that eventually created what we call life. So
yeah,
it's nice to keep that perspective every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because with everything going on in life, sometimes the burden of reality kind of takes apart. And it's nice having that thing because I talk to a lot of people and I'll be like, hey, what kind of hobbies do you have? This and that. And people will be like, I don't. And I don't know how I could live, not like having those things to like kind of like keep me in.
Yeah. Like I say this a lot. I haven't been bored since like 1999.
Yeah, exactly.
I have too many games to play, comics to read, books to read, TV shows, movies to watch. Like I'm behind on everything, so like I always have something to do. So like I don't know how anyone's ever just bored. But then people don't have any hobbies. All they do is go to work and then they just watch TV all night. Or,
you're just there, now. And I get it. Some people enjoy that, or they do have something. Even reading books, like every time I come over, Sarah has a new book, and every time it's like, she talks about like Greek mythology in the books or this and that, and I get excited. It's fun having like connections.
She doesn't watch this, so I got her like 13 new books for Christmas.
Oh my god!
So she's gonna be chilling for a bit.
You gotta fill up that bookshelf that you just got, which is rad as fuck.
It will be filled pretty quickly, I assume.
Excellent, dude.
So
great.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, also Dragon Ball related. It is time. I've gotten about like, I think they're on 12 episodes. It's somewhere around that. I kind of like let it go and then I watch a few at a time. Dragon Ball Daima.
I need to get back to that.
So, okay, sorry, that sigh wasn't for what I'm about to say, but I like it more than what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. The animation is top. Can't argue it. I've seen people argue it. They're wrong. the animation is top tier. I am one of those people that cry when I see 3D coming more into everything, but they did a really good job with it. Some of the fight sequences are tough. Like, they are good. I don't know. I don't want to be the void casting fucking other kids, like, because I do feel that way. But now that they've gotten into it a little bit more, it is it is good. I still am not on its side. I wish we had more like of the continuity going forward, but it was Toriyama's last work. Apparently, there's rumors that there's a movie he worked on too that's coming, but just he's Dragon Ball's creator. He created something to reminisce about Dragon Ball, and it's good. I mean, it's a little slower than I'd like, but now they're in the demon realm and they're collecting Dragon Balls and they're like fighting and it feels a lot better. So I'll retract some of my original thoughts on it openly and say that I am starting to enjoy it a little bit more. But as a kid, like someone like Finn watching that, dude, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Absolutely jealous.
Yeah, I can't wait for the English translation. Like,
yeah, it should be coming soon,
so he can watch that because he was into it. He tried so hard, but he's a 6-year-old. He's not going to sit there and watch something that's
subtitles and
yeah.
I will say the new villains that they're popping out kind of wonky, but I'll wait for you to catch up on that and we can talk about it at a later date. But it's just kind of goofy what they're doing. They've done a lot of retcons and a lot of like world building, I guess. I just feel like it's kind of necessary a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see. But I enjoyed it a lot more for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I can't. I've been wanting to get back to it. It's not over yet, right? It's still going.
It's still going. I saw the other day. I guess it's projected to be around 20 episodes. Okay. So we're getting there. I don't know if they'll continue it or not, but
we'll have to do a whole episode on what we think of everything. So I could get back to that. Speaking of anime.
Oh, well, hold on, real quick though. The one we do need to get you in, Bleach.
Yeah.
We need to do something with Bleach with you because the new dude on the complete other side of the spectrum, the new Bleach content is just unreal.
Yeah, I heard
it's had its slow episodes here and there, just like any other anime, but the animation is just unreal. Like, it is just good. The fight sequences are insane, and especially at the end of the manga that they're now doing, no one's safe. Like, everyone just dies. Like, everyone's dying. Everyone's fighting for absolute life or death in every episode. So it is just such top tier work, and I'm hoping more Bleach comes out of this somehow.
Yeah, I've been feeling a lot of FOMO with that. I never even finished the original series. It's just so much for me to catch up on to get there.
Yeah, it's big.
I will get there. Maybe I'll do that. Have I don't put on my New Year's resolution list.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should have a podcast resolution list and try to like work out some things on both of our sides.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had ideas for stuff like that for next week's episode since it'll be the last one of the year. So
all right, we'll talk about that off camera then.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. But yeah, just speaking of anime, I started an anime myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Have you ever heard of Bubblegum Crisis?
I have, but I haven't like sat down and watched it yet.
Yeah, it's the same. I've always heard like it's this top tier classic. Like, it's from 1987, so it's old school anime.
Yeah.
I've only watched a couple episodes so far, but I'm really into it.
Okay.
All I know is it's like cyberpunk kind of in the future. They call it's Mega Tokyo. There's like androids that are around, just like in Blade Runner, and like this group of girls, which I'm not sure the whole backstory yet. But they have these like suits that they use like to fight these things, and they basically are just they're like doing jobs for people, and I think like one of them has ties into where the robots come from. You don't really know yet, but basically they're like working. The cops got them to work with them to take out these androids, and it's pretty action packed. The animation's cool. It was really awesome. It's just like that old 80s vibe.
Oh yeah,
and the soundtrack slaps. I've added the opening theme song of this to. I have a playlist on Spotify for best opening anime songs, and that's made it to it. I don't really have a ton to say about it yet, because like I said, I haven't watched much, but really into it. I feel like you would probably like it a lot.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
But it's always on those list of best animes that you have to watch before. But it's not like a really long series or anything.
Right. Maybe we'll have to do like an anime roundup sometime. Get caught up on some things that we've watched because we kind of go, everywhere on the podcast. Maybe we can do like a side episode.
Yeah.
Like focus it down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, definitely going to be watching more of that. I haven't been playing too many games, but the Christmas event for Fortnite started, which we've been doing some of. They basically every year they do like a certain time in December. Every day you can unlock like a new present and you get all these free items. And then the big thing this year is a big giant block of ice showed up on the map like last week,
right?
With like a countdown to the 20th.
Okay.
For when the Christmas event started. I shit you not, the cube melted and what was inside was fucking Mariah Carey.
Wow, no, dude. Mariah Carey invaded Fortnite?
Yeah, and then they put All I Want for Christmas in the game. Like and you can get that as an emote, but like the Mariah Carey thawed and now it's time for Christmas is basically
you know what?
It's so outlandish, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'll give Fortnite props on that for just taking the meme and just full sending it into the game. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And you can get her as a skin and shit too.
Oh my god, dude.
I bought the emote. All I want for Christmas is you emote.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people talk shit on Fortnite, and I've talked a lot of shit on Fortnite throughout the years, but they do keep it coming. I mean, for what the game is, it's still free, like
it's always feeling fresh because there's always changing up the map, adding like they added new mechanics in now where you can like jump off walls and like run up walls to get higher and stuff like that, and do rules when you hit. Like they're always adding new mechanics, the map changing up the map, adding new skins. Like it feels fresh and like having something that I could play with my wife and my son together, like us three together all the time. Like it's awesome. So
yeah, it's cool. I wish I was better at it. Maybe I'll devote some time into getting a little bit better.
You can't get better at something if you don't practice.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Sarah wants you to play Fortnite so bad.
I know. I just always hate feeling like a like a detriment. I mean, it's Fortnite isn't exactly the most serious game.
Experts or anything either. So
hey, don't be humble now. This man gets W's all day.
Not all day, but yeah.
You get at least one a night. I keep track.
We're not bad. It's just fun.
Yeah.
We get shit on a lot, so it's nothing different.
It comes with time. New kids.
Yeah. And they just put this whole season's like Japanese themed and like samurai and stuff like that. They just put a new skin in last night. It's like Ninja Samurai Batman. It's hard. Yeah, look up a picture of it. Actually, and there was a Harley Quinn one here. I'll show you.
Oh boy. Yeah, throw that up.
Batman Shinobi.
Dude.
It's pretty cool. I almost was tempted to get it, but
full samurai.
And then the rumor has it that Samurai Darth Vader with a pickaxe that looks like a katana that's a lightsaber is coming very soon.
Oh, I see it right now. Oh my god, dude. Oh god, it's like they talked at Fortnite HQ. It was like, how do we get this guy to play?
Right.
And
the Dragon Ball stuff is in it all the time too.
The Dragon Ball stuff, a lot of people like it. But it looks really corny.
I have the Gohan and I have the Gohan skin and Vegeta and Goku, I believe.
If they update that Gohan to a Beast Gohan, this Batman, all right, you might see me in here soon. Because that's worth the price of admission.
Yeah. But yeah, just playing Fortnite like usual. The only other thing that I did recently, we watched Beetlejuice last night.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet, so don't get crazy on me. Yeah. But what do you think?
I thought it was fine. Okay. It didn't ruin the original. I still feel like it wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
None of the it was fun. It was like fine to watch. I think you should watch it. But nothing happened in it, I think, that lived up to the memorable moments in the original.
Okay. That's fair, because I mean, when that movie came out, I mean, that's another one from our childhood that was just like, whoa, that was a great movie.
Michael Keaton was good. It felt like someone doing an impersonation of Beetlejuice, but it was Michael Keaton. So other than that, it didn't feel necessary, but it was a good watch.
I figured it was kind of in the middle of the road because you didn't really hear too much about it once it dropped. There was a lot of hype for it.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like teetered. So I assumed it wasn't bad, but it's kind of like the same thing with me with Marvel, with the movies and everything. Like they're so far past each other sometimes. They're kind of detached, like with like Captain Marvel and Secret Invasion. being so far apart, but yet I feel like if they were right after each other, immediately, it probably would have had a lot more impact.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like how these kind of movies come out, 20 years later or 30 years later, whatever,
Yeah.
and they drop a sequel. Half the cast isn't even around anymore, or they don't want to do it, or,
Yeah.
like they literally said they weren't going to bring back the parents from the original or the couple because it wouldn't make sense, or,
Yeah, they mentioned them.
yeah,
They
they
had
talk about them, but,
a quick little mention of why they're not there, but
stuff like that,
mostly
because they would have
everyone
to
else
like,
came back though.
yeah,
There's
because they would have to
and
like de-age him and all that kind of stuff and
yeah.
be ghost or whatever. And
Yeah, Willem Dafoe was in it. I thought his character was pretty cool.
that's awesome.
But
Willem Dafoe is a gem.
yeah, it's on HBO on Max, by the way. So I don't know if you
Yeah,
know that.
I realized I went to it the other day. My HBO and my Paramount both dropped. Like the moment I was gonna, so I'm kind of behind with whatchamacallit too, secret level. So we're gonna talk about that later, but I have to get into it.
Yeah. So on that, that's all I've been really getting into. Just been busy with Christmas and work and stuff. So guess we can go ahead and get into some news here real quick. We do have, speaking of Dragon Ball again, we actually have some Dragon Ball news. I'll go ahead and pull it up and Brock can talk about it. He's the one that brought it to my attention. Pretty exciting news.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy, man. Like, it's been a long while. The anime's been gone. The manga's been gone. Toriyama died. Rip. It's been a hard journey for that IP, and that's why I've been giving Daima more of a shot and trying to like take it in and appreciate it. But I don't know if this is going to continue the manga, but it's getting there. I mean, it's a one shot technically, but it's going to continue with Goten and Trunks following in Gohan's footsteps as the Great Saiyaman. And I, as a fan, personally really appreciate that because there was, Goten loved it in the show. He thought Gohan was super cool when he did that. And growing up, we always, we still do. We love superheroes. So kind of getting that, and for me, the Z Fighters, Goku, all Vegeta, Piccolo, everyone, they were my superheroes growing up because I was very in the Japanese themed things. And we're here. Like, we're full send with the whole superhero. And Goten and Trunks are protecting the city as their own superheroes. And we have an introduction to a new character. It's called the Clean God. And there was rumors about this before, but this is the actual announcement that happened at Jump Fest. February 20th, it's coming back in Japan.
Well, yeah.
So I'm really excited for that. I hope this is the spark that it needed to keep going, and I hope it has a good reception. And I don't think that this Clean God guy is going to be a good guy. That's just my personal opinion on it. He just seems too cock diesel to just be a regular human being. And if he is a regular human being, I mean, he doesn't even stand up to those kids. So, but apparently they're going to be looking up to him as like a superhero. So we'll see where that goes. There's not much information besides the actual, announcement of this, but it's something.
Yeah.
We've been waiting a long time. The well's been dry.
Yeah, and Goten and Trunks are awesome.
So. Yeah, and they're in high school. Like, that's the biggest part. Like,
a little bit.
Yes, like they're back. It's like Boo Saga Part 2 for the kids. Gohan grew up. It started becoming about him. They went back to Goku eventually in the original series, which I get. Obviously, he's the main character of the damn show. So it is what it is. But people my age are growing up now. A lot of a lot of Gohan fans are, in the store now. Like, we're ready to see some more. And I'm glad that they're at least doing the shine through Goten and Trunks.
Right.
Because Trunks is a great character.
Oh, yeah.
You need him, he's been a fan favorite with a lot of people. And Goten hasn't, because Goten's been nothing. We got future Trunks, so we got to see adult Trunks already.
Yeah.
But being able to have both of them grown up, same continuity, Gotenks as their fusion, as an adult, please, come on.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
After Gohan, Future Trunks is my favorite character.
Yeah.
So
DBZ Future Trunks is one of the hardest characters to come out of that show. So I hope he just follows in his man's footsteps.
Yeah. And I want Goten to get a little bit more shine, because like the biggest things that he's done always involved Trunks. Like he hasn't really done anything on his own.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, I guess, is turning into Gotenks, which is probably going to keep doing that. I just wish he got a little bit of an edge himself.
And plus, like, it's always been, because with Goku and Vegeta, they started as a rivalry, the Saiyan bloodline thing, like they're just rivals. They've been rivals, they're always going to be rivals. But Goten and Trunks, they grew up together and they're friends. And the fusion kind of represents that, I think. Personally, how they fight, because they're so close, they're like one person.
Yeah.
So it's like
representation, yeah.
Yeah. I just like seeing that, and I want to see them shine. Because Goten, as like an older person, has a good personality, and I want to see him be able to outshine his brother now and be the protector of the city. The golden fighter, dude.
Yeah, he's like the Tim Drake of the Goku family.
Yeah, 100%. I like that. So that's all. There's not really anything to it. It's not going to technically continue the storyline, the main storyline, but I mean, it's pretty much where they left off with doing the manga for superhero. So it's nice. I guess there's good reception that they've decided to go this route. So we'll see. Mark it on the date, February 20th. Now, I'm sure it won't come to us, February 20th. I'm sure they'll probably have like a April / spring release for us with the dub and everything. But with the internet,
right,
I'm gonna see it that day.
There'll be fan translations pretty quick.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that as soon as that drops for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And other than that, we got a couple trailers to get to talk about here,
which is kind of funny because on the topic of Dragon Ball, we have a karate movie to talk about next.
Yeah,
and then a certain scene in the next trailer that also references Dragon Ball, which is people can say whatever they want about Dragon Ball and how corny it's gotten, but it touches everything. It's so prolific.
Yeah. So we got the Karate Kid Legends trailer. I've seen this. You haven't, correct?
No. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
This is basically bringing the OG Miyagi, Daniel-san era of Karate Kid and bringing it to that reboot with Jackie Chan, which was a reboot, but now apparently it's part of the same universe.
That was the one with Jaden Smith, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is that storyline kind of combined. So go ahead and throw this trailer up and see what you think. I'm curious if this takes place after the show. I think that's ending soon, May 30th. Dude, I'm interested.
Oh, I'm very interested. I'm gonna sound a little hypocritical with what I'm about to say, but as a Karate Kid, anyone who grew up with Karate Kid loved Karate Kid. That was a movie that just sets itself in stone, in my opinion. Growing up watching that, the sense of Cobra Kai is the bad guy. I never really watched the show. The show didn't really, and I know they touch on that kind of stuff. And I know by your face, I know everyone keeps telling me I'm an idiot and I need to watch it. But it's just always this sense of, I don't give a shit about the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see Karate Kid. And I know they touch on a lot of that. But seeing this just completely sparks it for me. I want to see this day one.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because obviously the kid knows kung fu.
Yeah,
but also to mix in Japanese style karate with that,
and they're like in the middle of the city, and those shots like dealing with people in the subway and stuff. I think it's gonna have a lot of like cultural ties into it, a lot of like new world, things that the kid has to deal with, and all that kind of stuff. Growing up, probably Chinese, in an American territory and all that. That looks interesting. The beat is a lot more down low than I thought that was going to be. And that makes me really interested because I think it's going to be kind of pulling at the heartstrings a little bit.
Yeah, especially where he is like you were to Mr. Miyagi to me.
Yeah, I got choked up a little bit when he did that.
I wonder what happened to Jaden Smith.
I don't know. Maybe they touch on that. Maybe they talk about it. Maybe because I don't remember how that movie ended. Was it a positive ending?
Anything about that movie?
Yeah. So maybe they touch on it. Maybe they say like he didn't continue or this or that or whatever.
Back to the States or something.
Or they just completely just wipe it.
Yeah. Don't even talk about it.
So we'll see. Maybe that's the whole point of this, to kind of like rewrite the continuity of everything.
Yeah. Maybe he made a mistake with him, and this is him trying to redeem himself with this kid or something. Right.
Like he can't continue the training that he needs like Ralph can. So we'll see. Or Danny, I guess I should say.
But yeah, I'm kind of behind on the show, but that definitely makes me want to go back and catch up. But I've watched a couple seasons of it, and I really, really like it.
Yeah, because they kind of like role reverse, don't they? Like, it kind of gives you the perspective of the Cobra Kai and like how he really was and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting because it kind of makes it shows it from his, they talk about too, like from his point of view from those movies,
right?
Where they change the point of view just a little bit and it kind of makes it seem like
because
he
you're
was
the good
shitty
guy
to
in your
him.
point of view.
Yeah, like it was him basically defending himself or getting him back. Like Daniel was actually shitty to him,
right.
and he couldn't take it, and that's how he became a bully and stuff. It's interesting.
And see, that's why like it's hard for me to sit down and like want to watch it because I don't want to see Danny in a bad light. So.
Well, it's not like that's not. They don't paint him in a bad light. They just make it. It just makes him seem like you see him from the other guys,
right?
Like what, right. Like how there was a mix, as kind of like a mix up. Not that
right.
Danielson was actually shitty or anything. So
right.
It's cool.
Okay, maybe I'll put that in the podcast resolution list.
Yeah,
I'll
add to that because I have to finish the series. So
okay, all right. Well, how many seasons are there? There's a good bit now, isn't there?
Like 5 or 6.
Shit. Okay. All right, definitely. Yeah,
but they're not like 24 episode seasons or anything.
Yeah, it's like that new age, like a little bit longer episodes.
See, Cobra. It started as a YouTube show.
Oh, really?
Crazy enough. And when they had those like the YouTube Red or whatever, and they had like all those premium shows, it started there. And then all got shut down, but this continued on and got picked up by Netflix.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see. Season 6 comes out in July. Wait, no, it came out in July. Sorry. And it was one of those deals where they split it. So half of it was in July, and the second half of season 6 came out last month.
Oh, okay.
In November.
Does it say that that's the final season, or? And
then Cobra Kai, it all got split up a couple of times, and then it continues again in February.
Oh,
rest of season 6.
So it's ongoing. Who knows? Maybe there's some ties with the movie.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, this is the last season though. This is the last part. 1, 2, 3, 5 more episodes, and then it's over.
And when's that drop again?
February.
And that's pretty fitting timing for that movie to come out afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. So. Yeah, I would say it has to come out after all this because like the whole thing about the show too is Daniel didn't really continue the karate stuff. Really, he became like a car salesman and shit. And it's just him kind of the show is also about him kind of finding himself and coming back.
Because that's what I heard. Like he pretty much turns his back on fighting and everything. Yeah. So I was just hearing a lot of that. I was just like, oh, I don't know if this is the show for me.
He falls back into it and becomes a master as like a rivalry from the guy from Cobra Kai.
Right.
And then they kind of reconcile and come together and they can face like bigger shit and stuff.
Okay.
So it's cool. It's really cool.
All right. You got me intrigued.
Yeah, we'll have to touch back with that. Then we got one more trailer. It's been kind of a little bit polarizing, I think.
I got a lot of heat for it.
So we'll go ahead and throw this bad boy up.
Threads did not like me for this one, man.
Mm-mm.
Do me a favor though. Pause it now. Well, give it a couple more seconds. All right, right there. This scene is what I was talking about earlier, just a minute ago. That Dragon Ball. Okay, so Goku vs. Superman has been its own continuity through life on the internet. There's been multiple death battle episodes about it. Some of it I don't really agree with, but as a Dragon Ball fan, I've never typically been a Superman fan because he's just kind of been hacks. Which, to be fair, as a Goku fan, as a Dragon Ball fan, Goku has a lot of just stupid hacks, and he's pretty much Japanese Superman. I mean, there's iterations in Japan that are more keen to Superman, but the ideology behind them is pretty close. And having such a big beef, between the two IPs, it's really funny to see a new trailer come out, and the opening scene is a Dragon Ball reference. In the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, one of the characters, Yamcha, dies in a fight against the Saiyans when you first meet Vegeta and all that kind of stuff. And this is the pose he does. Like, this is you could probably take a shot from Yamcha, make it transparent, and put it over this, and it's exactly to the T. I just find that kind of interesting.
You think it was intentional?
Oh, 100%. 100% intentional. I mean, the one scene you'll see later, like, he's sitting in the apartment having like a date night with Lois, and there's a beam struggle happening in the middle of Metropolis. Yeah. There has to be some touch, with that. There's no way.
Yeah.
So
definitely had to point that out for sure.
And the fact that he's so messed up, Like you rarely see that with Superman.
The theme music is pretty hard, I will say.
Yeah, I like that they kept the OG just with the new spin. Here, pause it again real quick. I'm sorry. I just want to point out it is kind of funny that he created Suicide Squad, and they reference James Gunn as the creator of Guardians of the Galaxy, a Marvel franchise.
That is true. That's funny. Considering Suicide Squad is supposed to be canon.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah. So I won't stop it again. Go ahead.
Yeah. To be fair, he's mainly more known for Guardians, I would imagine. So
it was just a funny thing to point out.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know.
Yeah.
True star.
I'm excited that Crypto's in
it. Yeah.
I'm curious to how he's gonna do. I like him.
Yeah.
He looks better than Jesse Eisenberg.
I saw people referencing that scene as a Hitman 47 scene.
Mm-hmm. Just let that play while we talk about it.
So, okay.
Let me say what
go ahead.
First, because mine aren't as intense as yours. I think watching it again more times, I think it looks fine. I don't think it looks bad. There's a lot of things that I see in this that I like. And I'll say this biasly, I fell off DC a while back. I never really held Superman to like a really high regard. I've always been more of a Batman guy.
Yeah, same.
For being someone that doesn't really care about DC anymore, I'm definitely going to watch this. I may or may not go to the theater. If it ends up being really good, I will go to the theaters to see it. If it's fine, I'll just wait. The benefit of the doubt is I do like James Gunn, and I've liked a lot of his movies, even the non-superhero stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So I have faith that he'll do a good job. Nothing so far as maybe like hype, like a lot of people were saying. I like the more lighthearted tone to it. That was one of the things about, Scott Snyder's stuff. It was a little too edgy for Superman, I think.
Right.
I like that they're bringing like a nice tone, especially with having Crypto in there. That's going to be funny. I am concerned about all the heroes that are going to be in it.
Yep.
But like those shots and like the way it looks awesome. Like
like that shot that just played, that slow-mo shot is hype. Yeah. I mean, that was a peak shot. I will say that.
Yeah. So it visually will at least look good. I'm not sure I'm sold on. I'm not sure the actor's name. I'm not sold on him being Superman either. Yeah. Like he looks too boyish to me.
David Corn something.
Okay.
Oh shit!
I'm not gonna. I've been pleasantly surprised before. I mean, when I heard Heath Ledger was going to be Joker, I thought, what the fuck, So I'm not like saying that he's going to be bad or anything. It just nothing really has me like hyped at all. Yeah. But it looks good. I think it looks good.
David Cornsweet is his name.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna, I guess, rephrase how I did it on Threads, because when I made my post, it was literally like 20 seconds after watching it. It was real early in the morning or late at night. I can't remember. It's kind of the same thing at that point. But like you said, I'm typically a Batman fan. I've never really been a fan of Superman just because of all the hacks and how like uber powerful he's become over the years. This obviously isn't that movie. This is more of I think a year one style Superman. But this right here, like, he's completely messed up. I think that was a personal choice by the direction team to like be able to show him as more of like human in that scene. But you don't really get that. Like, it takes a lot to hurt Superman like that. Like, he was pretty much dying in that scene. But Crypto looks sick. I am excited to see Crypto get added into that. But like you said, I mean, all the heroes is very concerning. And I say that coming from a Marvel fan, because once they started doing a lot of that, it kind of drowned out the movies a little bit. Everyone, I mean, it's public knowledge. Everyone complains about it, which is kind of ironic, even to myself, that like, oh, all these heroes are in it. Brr, like, it's just so. But as a Marvel, like how they did their movies, they did a lot of build up for a lot of these characters. And I'm concerned that if they're just stuffing all these cameos, whether they have an integral part in the movie or not, it's going to drown out the story a little bit. There's a lot of shit going on in this trailer. Like, there's war right there. The whole city's going against him there. They show Hawk Girl here. They show, Guy Gardner with his terrible bowl cut. Just like, it looked like he was putting up a barrier to keep people out of the building. There's just a lot of back and forth. Yeah. You see, I saw people talk about, they said that one guy that just showed was Metamorph. I'm not 100% really even who that is. You know, like
Like
they have a kaiju in there. They show a potential like Bizarro Superman or whoever, you know, whoever that was fighting him in the baseball stadium. You know, like there's a lot in this trailer going on, and hope I do like. I will say I do like seeing Mr. Terrific because he is I'm a fan of him. You know, so I like a lot of grounded characters when it comes to superhero movies because it gives a nice like, you know, perspective with the different like forms of these heroes.
I can see it going either way with that too. Like I lean on both sides. Like, yeah, too many heroes can drown out Superman. But on the other side, other people were mentioning that they're doing it so it makes it feel the world
right, like it's already there.
Like it's not like some of these origin, like they're so disconnected from everything else. It feels like they're not even connected at all. You know what I mean? This, it's like right off the bat, this is the world, the heroes that are here.
Yeah,
Superman first,
and for I would say one of the first times we wholeheartedly disagree about something. I'm not a James Gunn fan. Like I give him Guardians, but even through Guardians, I had some issues with a lot of the stuff that he decided on going. Like you really enjoyed the third one. I really did not enjoy the third one. And like a lot of the animal stuff, which was the whole point of the movie, like for Rocket, you know, it was like his whole character development, like throughout that movie. It didn't hit me in the right place, and it felt just really, really dark.
Yeah,
coming from someone who says like they're so lighthearted and upbeat with everything.
Yeah,
it was a weird take for me personally. I don't know, and I personally think DC's supposed to be gritty. I mean, I get it. It's Superman. Like he is all about sunshine and hope. So I don't have a problem with the color grading. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of it's funny because like I got slammed for what I said, but I never actually said anything about Superman. I just said about the movie as a whole because they got this whole like love building with Lois. They have, you know, the his like home base. I forget, the Fortress of Solitude, pretty much coming to be in that scene. They do the classic up in the air, you know, shot. They do the behind the cape shots. They do all the Superman stuff. So I mean, I will say it has potential to be a very good movie if they do this right. I mean, if it's just an hour and a half, 2 hours long of just like, hey, look at this hero, hey, look at this hero, hey, look at this hero, you know, and there's no actual substance to start building like a series. And I know it's not supposed to tell a story, it's just supposed to be the world. You gotta have some direction. I mean, I get the not wanting to do like a trilogy type of thing where it just like follows one baddie, you know, and this and that. But if there's too much, I mean, where do you go with it?
Right. An interesting thing about James Gunn is he's came from like a horror background. Like he started off with Trauma, like the studio that made like Toxic Avenger and like all those really like edgy, like gross horror movies. And then he was involved with 13 Ghosts. He did the Scooby-Doo movies, which were good. He wrote Dawn of the Dead, though Zack Snyder, Dawn of the Dead.
Which I really did like 13 Ghosts.
Slither, that, movie. That also had did the playing Guy Gardner. Nathan Fillion, that's a good horror movie. It's like a horror comedy. He's did Super with Rainn Wilson from The Office. That's really good. I love the Guardians movies. There's some other horror stuff that he's done. I really liked Suicide Squad. His Suicide Squad, not the first one with Will Smith.
Yeah, I liked his more than the first one.
Yeah, and then I also really enjoyed Peacemaker, the show.
Yeah, okay.
So like he really like that's why I'm a little bit more like not super worried because he's made me like DC stuff that after I've already been disconnected from DC already. You know what I mean? So like I heard Creature Commandos is really good.
Yeah, I did too. So, I mean, I just look at the end of the day, I'm critical because I care, you know, like I'm not going to sit there because I've done it. I've done the whole, oh, this is going to be amazing every time.
Yeah.
My favorite character's in it. So it's definitely going to be the best. That's not how it always plays out. You know, like sometimes it does fall short. And I've seen that again with Marvel. We've gone 40 plus movies now.
Yeah.
And when we do that tier list, you're going to see how I feel about a lot of that. And a lot of them fall short for me, you know, and that's just pacing, character development, lack of character development, you know.
And I'm on the opposite side. I'm not critical because I don't care.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can remove yourself
Yeah.
and just because I'm looking in the future. What does this Superman look like? Because he's going to create a new Batman for this universe. What's that Batman going to look like? If we get a Batman that's sunshines and rainbows, I'm going to be kind of pissed off.
I don't think we would.
I'm just saying.
Because it's Superman.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, because it would be really polarizing to get something like that, and then everything else is gritty.
Yeah,
like that'd be weird.
Just retroactively pull Robert Pattinson's Batman in.
Don't you fucking do it. Because I'm also in the niche group. See, I'm in a niche group. I don't like Pattinson's Batman. I think he looks weird. He acts weird. I don't know. If I saw shots out of context, I would have assumed his character was going to be a villain. I don't know. But the world is great, in my opinion. I think what they created, like Riddler, also for me, growing up with old school Batman, making him some weird internet, like Reddit incel, was kind of weird for me. It fit with today's times, but it was just kind of weird. Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of it was just weird to me. But the overarching world of like Gotham and how they set it up was perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what they do. And I've seen a lot of people say that they wanted to see his Batman meet this Superman. And I'm like, it's not, So I'm nervous on how he handles all these different characters because there is a lot of personality. I mean, like the Avengers have personalities, but like Green Lantern, well, it's not the same Green Lantern, Sky Gardner. So he could go like a complete, because he did the Red Ring, he did all that kind of stuff. So he could go a complete bad guy route. And I would like seeing that. Like if he was like a boys, like level of like superhero where he's actually just in it for the paycheck and he's just like doing whatever the government tells him to, or Lex, whatever, however they go about that. Because one of my favorite stories is Public Enemies. And that's when Luthor becomes president, makes his own superhero team and puts everyone against Batman and Superman and make them the villains. That was a really interesting, and like Kingdom Come, that's another one that they kind of do that same trope a little bit. And I like seeing hero on hero action.
Yeah.
So, and I think we're going to get that in this movie to some degree.
I think the fact that it has us all talking is
means something.
Sign. Yeah.
Yeah, it means something.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll definitely be covering that more in the future for sure. But
I will be in theaters day one, center of that theater watching that movie. Right. Because if any level that I'm right, I'm going right back to that internet and we're having a new discussion.
Yeah.
But not in the negative light, just like because a lot of people had some opinions about me never knowing over one tweet, like saying like, oh, I don't know this. You're not a true fan. This is not correct. I'm not a Superman fan at all, but I am a superhero fan and I'm a fan of good movies.
Yeah.
And that's all that really was.
Right.
It just seemed really crowded. People got mad at me for saying this. You showed half the Justice League already. I didn't say they were going to be completely the Justice League, but it's just like the characters were there, and if they come together in the end, it's just going to, it's just going to be another and that's okay. I don't care how it goes. Like you said, I'm kind of disconnected from it. I just want to see the characters done right. That's all. I want to see those different personalities shine and they please bring a new Flash.
We want it to be good. We don't want it to fail. Basically.
Yeah, I don't want it to be shit. Even I want to see James Gunn in a new light. I want to see him in a new project doing new things. And I want to he's a movie director, I want to see him do good things.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be critical until I get shut up. If it's a great movie, I'll be the first one publicly on every, social media I have. Like, this was a great fucking movie.
Right.
I can't wait, so hey, don't get mad because I said something. I didn't even say anything about Superman. Like, that was the thing. Like, I talked about the world around Superman. Yeah. Everyone was bitching about the costume and this and that and yada yada. I don't give a shit about that. Like, that costume could be in the first 30 seconds of the movie, and then he gets a new one. Who knows? We don't know that, just like everyone said. And like you said, I appreciated what you said because like everyone's jumping on this like negative train bandwagon over like I did. But people are also jumping on the, oh my fucking God, it's going to be the greatest movie ever bandwagon. We're both wrong because neither of us have seen the movie.
Right.
I just took what I saw and went with it, Yeah. I don't want to see a shitty.
You said what you saw, but you hope it's not what you saw. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know my first opinions that come out of my mouth sometimes are a little bit more aggressive than I mean them to be. But, that's just part of the personality. That's just who I am. I throw it out there.
Yeah. You also weren't like, whoever watched this and thinks it looks good is an idiot, or you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? You weren't even like calling anyone out. You just said what you saw, how you felt.
Yeah. So once the movie happens, like the one person was just like, "Oh, you've seen the movie? You know what's going to happen in the end? You know this is." Da-da-da. I'm like, "No," but I'm making a prediction.
But neither of you.
Yeah, I just made a prediction of something I don't want to see. You know, I want it to be about Superman. I don't want it to be, you know, this whole like everyone coming together thing and everyone taking the shine off them. Just like Batman. Like imagine if they did a Batman movie, but the whole movie was just introducing side characters for 3 movies down the line.
Yeah.
And you saw Batman like twice, you know. Fuck, where's Robin? You know, we haven't gotten Robin in years. You know, we had one iteration of Robin from Batman and Robin, right? Live action. Holy shit. You know, like what the fuck? We had Batgirl movie, but they scrapped that. Michael Keaton even said he doesn't even care if the movie came out because it was a paycheck. Yeah. You know, and they used Keaton to try and make the Flash movie good. And that shit was dog shit. I'll say that. Like, I'm sorry. Don't. It's dog shit.
No intention either because it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a big canon guy. So, you know, it's just, I don't know. And I really did like Henry Cavill. And I did kind of, I'm not a Snyder fan. I think the Snyder cut of Justice League was absolute dog shit too. They made a 4-hour, but to me, it was like they did a 4-hour movie in black and white with VFX and special effects. You can't see any of it. It's just white flashes everywhere. Like it's just like some of it was better, I think, in my opinion, but I just overall it wasn't great. You know, it didn't do that much more for the series. Jason Momoa's Aquaman, I thought was trash. You know, like I don't know, dude. He has a lot of work to put in. I guess is what I'm trying to say to unravel a lot of that trash, in my opinion. So there you go, Snyder fans. Now you can hate me too. Yeah. You know.
We'll be here to, dude. My favorite eras of DC movies was Tim Burton, you know, Christopher Reeve Superman, even the 90s Batman movies were my jam over.
Yeah. Oh, 1989 just it for me. That's Batman for me. Like no nipples.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. You know, Jim Carrey is the real for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, see, that's the polarizing difference with all that. Because fucking Mr. Freeze, Arnie was just terrible. Like he was like a big comic relief point of that. Yeah. But Jim Carrey's Riddler, like that's what I see as Riddler, like in my head. Yeah. So I got to unwrap my brain a little bit. Yeah. With that, but he felt comic accurate. In ways, you know. Yeah. So
but yeah,
we'll see.
We'll definitely get more into that stuff as it comes out. Maybe we'll even give Creature Commandos a shot because that's like really the first thing in that universe that's came out so far, and I heard it's really good. So
yeah, and that's great because you know we talk a lot of Marvel. That's all we've had. You know, Marvel, Star Wars, this and that. Now DC's coming back. Do good shit. Yeah. I want to talk about it. I want to watch it, and I don't want to shit on it.
Me care again.
Yeah, make me want to watch Superman. Yeah, because I will say animated Superman I've enjoyed a lot. Like DC does animated movies on next level. I think they're better than most Marvel animation projects and all that kind of stuff. But recently we've only had Marvel animation projects. So let's get more from the studio, please. Yeah. And now maybe we will, since, you know, he's now has more of a reign over things and whatnot. So that's my piece.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Give me 1 second before you continue. Sure. I gotta take this. Alrighty. Continue on.
All right. After all that DC talk, we'll go ahead and move on to some other things. We got the things that are coming out this week, which is a little bit light because it's Christmas, but I do have some things. One of the big things, and I'm not that I'm super stoked about it, but I'm slowly kind of getting into this world a little bit. But the Doctor Who Christmas special comes out
another on Christmas IP. Day. People love Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
people missed me.
Love it,
but love it. People look at me side eye sometimes when I say I haven't watched it. And I might have to do a little bit.
So many times and tried different doctors. I kind of fall off, but I've been watching like the newer stuff with the new Doctor with my wife, and I've been enjoying it. I think I'm slowly starting to get into it, so I'm looking forward to this Christmas special.
So real quick though, what's the breakdown? Like for anyone who doesn't understand Doctor Who, kind of like me too. Time traveler, like what? Like what?
You're asking the wrong motherfucker, dude. There is time travel involved, yes.
Like he's the doctor, like what, like is he like an actual like what's the context to him like that you've seen, you think, so far?
Should we try to have a quick special guest on to explain
Oh
that?
God, I mean,
give me one.
I'm sure she probably won't, but
we'll see. If not, we'll cut this out. Give me 1 second.
All right,
it's gonna be a no-go on that.
Okay.
At least
maybe
right now.
Maybe that can be something we do going forward. Like we take some of these IPs and we'll just do like episodes based around them.
Yeah.
We'll kind of deep dive them and see what we get out of it. You're muted.
I say, yeah, I can't even begin to explain.
Yeah, okay.
Too much. It's like it's just batshit. That's why. Like it's
like, is he solving like crimes like from the things you said? Like, is it just like he goes around in history?
They go around stopping things from
things
from doing other things. It's I think it started in the 60s. It's a convoluted thing from the 60s, which is in general is just batshit. It's I don't know.
Okay.
He's the doctor. Like I said, he's trying to save people in their worlds and planets and times.
Oh, so it goes past time travel. It's space and all sorts of stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Like it could be like 1,000 years in the future on like a different planet in another solar system. And the next episode could be like during World War II. Like,
okay. All right. Maybe, we'll talk about that more, but maybe as a side thing from the actual podcast, maybe we can start doing like a deep dive thing. Like we take an IP and we
that we're not familiar with.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. But I know that this has been reviewed already, and people are saying this is the best Christmas special.
Oh,
so
well, that's saying something if it's been around since the 60s.
Yeah, so if you're a Doctor Who fan, definitely check that out. And
forgive us if you are a Doctor Who fan. we both just personally aren't, but we'll rectify that a little bit.
And then also same day in theaters, they're releasing Nosferatu,
which I also didn't know about, but you brought me in the loop on.
Yeah, it's a remake of the OG Nosferatu. It's like the first. I think it's considered like the first horror movie, the black and white.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's what it was called.
Vampire, like creepy bald.
Yeah,
long
like
fingers.
The classic, monster man.
Yeah,
we'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot. It's premiered, and everyone's been saying it's really good. So I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Awesome. I'm glad to see things coming back from the grave, no pun intended, and people actually like enjoying it.
Yeah, Robert Egger did like The Witch and Lighthouse, which
every
movie that he does feels completely different than the other one. They like always try to make it like accurate,
right,
to the time too, like how they talk and stuff like that. So
good.
Yeah, so hopefully I like that. But that's something coming out. I won't be going to see it on Christmas or anything, but
right.
I'll be watching it. And other than that, is this a new segment I wanted to try out that's technically part of what's coming out?
Okay.
I use a website that I track like releases of comics and stuff like that, and I thought it would be neat to kind of briefly mention some of the big comics that are going to be coming out on Wednesday.
Sure.
So I'll go ahead and pull that up here. I mainly only have it set to like the bigger companies like DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, Boom. So like these real little ones probably aren't going to get mentioned or anything, but let me see here.
Yeah, there he is right there, man.
There we go. All right. So these are all comics that are either coming out on the 25th or the day after. Things are a little bit messed up. I don't know why they're technically releasing on Christmas, because I'm sure no shops are going to be open. So most of these really are the 26th. But we got some big Detective Comics, Absolute Wonder Woman 3. The Absolute Universe people have been raving about it. I haven't been reading any of it, but it's basically DC's Ultimate Universe. But
I heard Batman's been nuts.
Yeah, I heard it's all pretty good, like specifically Absolute Batman. Amazing Spider-Man, Superman, X-Men #9, which we reviewed that first issue. It's on issue 9 already. Action Comics, Justice League Unlimited. We got Ultimate Black Panther 11. I've heard Ultimate Black Panther is really good. I read the first issue. I was into it. Green Arrow, Void Rivals is a big one. That's tied in with the Transformers and G.I. Joe universe.
Yeah.
They're
only on number 15.
It took a break for a little bit. It came out for a while, and then they took a little bit of a break, and then they came back. So that's why it's only on 15. Flash, Exceptional X-Men. I haven't read this one yet. I have the first issue. Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. Is there like a sequel to the Batman's Long Halloween? I guess.
I'm pretty sure.
Moon Knight, Harley Quinn, Iron Man, more Batman, Spider-Man stuff, Green Lantern, Blade. I got the first issue of this. I've been meaning to read it. This looks really good. Metamorpho, that was who was in that trailer you were talking about.
Yeah. Do you know anything really with him?
I think he can shapeshift, or has something to do with the elements. Like he can shapeshift into different things related to elements of some sort. I think. I don't know 100%. Rat City, that's a Spawn tie-in. This is like in the Spawn universe, but in the future. He has like a mech suit Spawn kind of suit going on. I didn't know this was going on. Ultraman Cross Avengers. Let me just pull this up real quick. This looks cool. Ultraman versus punching Galactus in the face.
Dude.
How rad is that?
I'm definitely going to read that.
Like, I know Ultraman had his own comics for a little bit.
That's sick. I'm definitely interested in that.
So, yeah, I thought that would mention that. Let me pull this back up.
We got some new...
Creep Show has been going on. Yeah, they brought that back. Like, that's from the old comics they based those movies on. Star Wars, the main series, is on a bit of a hiatus right now. They've been releasing... these have been coming out like once a week. Yeah. Like the Battle of Jakku. So this takes place after Return of the Jedi. You hear about Jakku in the sequel trilogy.
Right.
This series is showing the actual battle that happened there.
Oh, okay.
Going through Sabretooth, Kidpool and Spider-Boy.
Dude, that I saw that immediately. I'm interested.
Yeah. That I'm assuming that's the Kidpool that's like in the Deadpool Wolverine movie, the little kid. Yeah,
I'm sure.
But not a ton else coming out. Mostly, like I said, because of the holidays, but definitely a good bit of stuff. So if definitely want to kind of keep this segment going on in the future, especially when there's weeks that have like really big comics coming out, we could just go through this list pretty quick just so you kind of have an idea about what's coming.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
And I'll show you. I have it set to 4 of. These are all the publishers that I'm not including.
Jesus.
And that's not even like Dark Horse wasn't even releasing anything this week.
Violator.
Yeah, that's from Spawn. Yeah, Spawn covers has this whole big shared universe going on right now. Like they got Sam and Twitch as part of it. Rat City, Violator, Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn. There's a lot of shit. King Spawn.
Oh, wow. They even have anime stuff. They have Shonen Jump on here too.
Yeah, this is what I use to keep track of, so I know what comics of mine are coming out that week.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, because all the different chapters.
Yeah, because if I go to my pull list, these are the 4 issues that I get that are coming out. So I know like these 2 I get at the comic shops, but these ones I'm going to be ordering. So I know what I need to order and stuff like that. I have them all pre-ordered.
That's pretty sweet. I'm gonna start using this.
And you can also check for example, if you click on Void Rivals, you can go to the series and it shows you every issue that's came out, and you can track it. Like if you pulled it, if you want to add it to your wish list or it's in your collection.
You have to pay for this at all, or is it all free?
It's free.
Nice.
There's an app too.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna get it on this.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then they have like a main page. Like they'll show if they have anything up right now. Usually they'll have like the biggest comics of that week, and there's the community, like people review stuff. I like it too. If I go to my comics, this is all of my comics that I have marked in my collection.
Oh, that's sweet.
And you can go by alphabetical. Here's X. This is the X-Men.
It's like more of a library than a key collector.
Yeah, key collector's just for keys. This is for everything.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You know what? Before we continue on, one more thing I do want to shout out, because it's a weird one for me. Because a lot of manga and stuff, I mean, a lot of people know, really like kind of teeter on the perverted side with a lot of their stuff, and kind of like turns me off of the series a lot. Dan to Dan has been an interesting watch.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's getting some buzz. Also, it's probably going to end up on your best anime intros. It definitely has a good song to it, but it really teeters on that like things happen within the show, or almost happen, I say, that are very like odd, but it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's like a really nerdy kid ends up getting like a demon possessed inside of him, and he needs this chick that has magic powers to like keep it under control. And if like she looks away, and like what the demon did was steal his there's a lot of focus on aliens and demons trying to take his his junk, essentially. And they do. Like the whole first season is him reclaiming his manhood physically. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But it's animated really well, and it's starting to pick up. He's like kind of more developed on his powers and whatnot, and it's kind of like a My Hero situation. I think like he has the powers, but his body can't handle it,
Right.
so he can only do it so much. So now he's like this little nerdy kid getting into like training and all that kind of stuff, and lifting weights, and kind of going through like love life for the first time, and like meeting girls and stuff. It's interesting. It's very interesting. But there's a lot of undertones that are very weird. But it's been one of the few that have actually kind of kept me watching.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm very particular with animes, and it doesn't seem like one that I would really watch. But I've heard a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just wanted to give a little shout. Yeah. I meant to mention it earlier, but I forgot.
Yeah, no problem. Yep, that's basically everything that's going to be coming out, and we're going to move on to our main topics this week. This episode's basically, since next week's going to be our end of the year episode with our best ofs and what we're looking forward to and stuff. There is a lot of things that we haven't gotten a chance to talk about or review or speak our mind on. So this is kind of like a whole wrap up episode for things that we need to talk about still and everything. So one thing that we'll start off with here, I played. So Monster Hunter Wilds is the new Monster Hunter game coming out next year, and there was a beta for it that came out that I got to play a little bit, and I just wrote down some thoughts and just gave my general impressions of it. Which, first of all, I will say I loved it. This is just a sliver of what the full game is going to be. We're definitely in for a treat.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Monster Hunter fan for years. Me and Brock played Monster Hunter Worlds with our friends, like in groups for a really long time. Yeah. I have a lot of hours into that, like over thousands.
It sucks. I can't believe I missed this beta. Out of all the things that I've done beta wise or this or that, talk about FOMO. Like, I'm really sad. And I think I saw that the second beta might not be happening. So I'm extremely sad if that happens. But I'm excited.
I hope so.
From everything I've seen, it looks great.
Yeah. It's this was a little while ago. So this isn't as fresh into my memory as some of the other stuff we're going to talk about. A lot of this is just stuff I wrote down that I'm going to try to recollect. The first thing I have here is the character creator is really good. I do remember that there's tons of different options. You can make your character just how you want. The people that like making their own characters, I think, will be pretty pleased with this. World was pretty good, but this is even better. All kinds of hairstyles and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, good. Someone with long hair as a guy, we don't get the representation we need. I always have to pick girls' hair and stuff.
A lot of things I hear too is in some of these games, even with robust character creators, they always shaft kind of like the POC hairstyles and stuff. Right. It always ends up being like the one that Miles Morales has in the video.
Yeah, yeah. It's like some very like outrageous
longer hair. Yeah,
like dreads, but like tied up and all that kind of stuff.
A lot of people were praising this, and I did see there's a lot of hair for people of color too this time around, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, dude, we can't talk about it anymore then. It's woke. Move on. Just kidding.
Yeah. This ties directly into my next point. As soon as you create your character, as soon as you hit complete, it transitions smoothly right into the game. Like you step out of like a room in a ship right onto the top part of the ship.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Where everything's going on. I just thought that was pretty cool. Let me see here. There's mounts this time around. I think Monster Hunter Rise, the one for Switch, had some too. Yeah. But you have these are they kind of remind me of chocobos from Final Fantasy. Like you can call them whenever they carry gear on them. So
it's awesome.
Which goes into some of the things I'll talk about. But for traversal and just for carrying items and stuff there for you.
That's how you handle the weapon switching and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you can even be mounted when you're fighting monsters and stuff too.
Oh, that's sick, dude.
Yeah. Because you can have two primary weapons this time around, but it's not like you hit triangle and it switches to the other. The other weapon is stored on your mount, so you have to call your mount. You can either grab it right out of it. You just got to be standing next to it.
Right.
What I would do is I always have the katana, the longsword. Like I would fight, and then the boss would go into like a different phase, and I'd call my mount. And when my mount was there and I was running from it during this phase, I pulled out my bow
Right.
while I was on my mount. So I'll be shooting my bow from my mount while I'm trying to avoid.
That's pretty hard.
And then like I would jump off of the mount and pull my sword back out, jump off the mount and start doing more physical damage again. It was really changed things up a good bit. It was pretty awesome.
If you might not be able to recall because it's been a while, but what was the animation time like with calling your mount? Did it just like come on the screen like out of nowhere and you were able to get to it right away?
Yeah. Like there was like a couple seconds, but it wasn't like you had to wait forever. Like it was on you pretty quick. I didn't feel
like you're not going to be fearing for your life every time you call.
Exactly. Yeah, I felt like it. I didn't feel like it took too long whatsoever. It made sense.
All right, good.
Basically, enough call it, runs in on the screen, comes to you. You know.
Oh, okay, good.
Kind of like with any like in The Witcher, like other games with horses and stuff. You just click the call mount button and it appears. Yeah.
Good.
So.
Well, I was worried about that because as soon as I saw that you had to get on the mount to get the other weapon, I was like, oh god. I was like, I see the many deaths because of the fucking horse or whatever it will be because of that. But if it's pretty quick.
Yeah, I had no problems with that whatsoever. Let me see here. If you do an SOS this time around and no real players accept it, it will put in AI characters.
Really?
To help you.
Okay.
Which I thought was neat. Because I always would like... I wouldn't... I mean, you get people sometimes, but sometimes you'd be waiting minutes at a time for an SOS.
Well, that's good. That's a big single-player W.
Yeah, and I think... I can't remember exactly, but I think if someone does come, then it'll swap out the bot with a person.
Okay. So it doesn't lock you in.
Right. So I thought that was cool. Your character actually talks this time around. Like before, it was always like that silent protagonist kind of deal.
Yeah.
He actually talked. The opening is extremely action-packed. This is just a beta, so I'll get into it.
Yeah.
So you do your character creator instantly transitions to you walking out a door on your ship. Something's attacking. You get knocked off. And then like the things that use as mounts are there, and you call, and like there's another like local, like it's another deal where like you're traveling to an area where you've never fought monsters before, like an expedition kind of thing. But here there's natives that speak a different language, you know, that they're basically like the Native Americans of this area. That
it feels like people like actually inhabit the world.
And they teach you how to ride the mount. And then there's like this big chase scene with like the monster in the sand, and you're like running on your mount, and then you like chase it, and like then do big fight. Like it was really awesome.
Okay.
The tutorial boss was cool. It was a giant toad monster, and I drew a little picture. I thought it was really neat looking. It was easy because it was a tutorial, but I just thought that was really cool. I wrote down, and you can have your secondary weapon. It's pretty quick to swap out. You just need to call your mount. And then as far as the beta goes, they didn't really give you the option. Like there was other bosses. It was like open world, like Monster Hunter World was. There was other bosses that you can go and just do on your leisure with. But you couldn't like take like after killing the boss, you could skin them and stuff, but you weren't making your own gear. Like the blacksmith was like off limits and stuff. But they did have full sets of gear in the item box that you could go pick and pick in weapons. So you could try out different.
Did they look sick?
Yeah, they look really sick.
Okay. That's what matters. Fashion game is.
I was disappointed that you couldn't make stuff, but I get it. It was a beta. They just want you to try out.
They want you to see all the good shit.
Yeah, and the one thing I noticed that was cool, like, you know how you have like the base camp where you go augment your gear and go to your tent. It was like connected to the open world. So like,
really?
Like there was other players there, and like I just walked out and went right into the open world. It wasn't like I had to go from camp into a loading screen to load whatever area. I mean, I don't know how in depth that will be, but it was something else that I did notice.
As long as you can just cut away all those loading screens, I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's fine. If you still have to go back to do any like the big stuff, whatever, but if you can do like 70% of it, you know, on site, that is huge W.
Yeah. They also, I mean, they had your normal move sets that you're used to in these, but they did add more abilities in on top of that. So it feels familiar and fresh at the same time, especially with the mount compat and calling in your mount and like all that shit.
Oh, that's gonna be great. Because someone like me, and I know there's more of you out there, I get lost all the time, like all the time. So I'm glad having a mount will kind of expedite that a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is not a knock to the game. It's actually a positive because they have so many like layers to the levels, and like there's the base level, like one of the maps in Worlds. I mean, they had all the trees, so all the trees connected, and you can run up all the way to like the sky. You could run pretty much like into the sky.
Yeah.
And they were so tall, and it was cool. And there's different monsters depending on it. And that's what makes that game like super fun.
Yeah. That reminds me of another point. They did change the map this time around. Like before, it never was just a basic area of the map with like not numbers for areas and stuff. They made it 3D this time where you can move it around.
No shit.
And see the different levels.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a little bit to get used to, but it's way more detailed than what we were getting before.
So did you said you saw other players. Where like did you try the matchmaking or any of that at all?
I did the SOS thing once, but I didn't get a chance to do a ton of stuff. Like I beat the content, mainly the main thing that they tell you to do, but I didn't get a chance to go out and fight additional monsters and really team up with people. But there was people at the camp that I was seeing and talking to and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
I think I did do the SOS. I think it might have been the AIs that showed up, not real players. So,
but did it seem competent? Like when you were playing, like they weren't like a character wasn't just off running headfirst into a tree or something. You know, like
they were attacking the monster and doing what they needed to do.
All right, cool.
Because we've always had those little cat AIs that would help too. It basically just felt
Palicos.
They were always pretty competent. It's just basically the same. They're just characters.
Okay. Do we still have the Palicos?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, you get to when you do your character creator, you get to create your Palico too.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Mine was named Hercules. It looked a lot the same, similar colors as my dog. So that was
awesome.
A cat.
Dude. I'm peaked and I'm ready.
Yeah, I cannot wait. That's one of my top 5 most anticipated games. It'll be on my list next week for sure. Moving on a little bit, still staying with games. This is one that we've both played. Marvel Rivals finally dropped, and me and Brock have been playing some of it. I don't know how much you've been playing separately, but I've been playing a little bit here and there by myself.
I'm ready, dude. I think it was the door I needed for like Overwatch style, type of games, because it's literally Overwatch, but it's Marvel.
Yeah,
that's all I needed, I guess. It's fun, it's fast paced. It's frustrating at times.
Oh yeah,
but
it's a big learning curve. It's way more of a learning curve in toughness than Overwatch was, I think.
But I will say, I do see a dark cloud coming because it is a lot like Overwatch, and it's already making people angry because people aren't playing certain roles and this and that. So I'm kind of nervous that it's going to have the same lifespan as Overwatch 2 because people are already tired of going into games with no tanks or this or that. But for a large majority of people like me who just playing it pretty much on the Marvel aspect, I'm sure it'll probably be a good game that people keep coming back to. Yeah, it feels good.
I'm sure they'll update things like that going forward and things. Overwatch did the same thing. They kind of mixed things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then made it so like you have to have a certain amount of this specific to even start the match and things like that.
And it is kind of nicer going in a like a subconscious perspective. Because in Overwatch, like those are all made characters for the game. So if I don't know anything about them going into the game, I'm looking at these like 20 characters and like, I have no idea what they do, this or that. I go through the Marvel selection. I'm like, all right, well, Captain America, he has a shield, so he's probably going to have some range attack. Spider-Man's probably going to be agility based. This, like, what's coming with those characters pretty much for the most part. So you can kind of, get a good idea of how those characters play.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge for people coming in like me that are normies into that kind of genre. So a little less intimidating.
For sure. And they have a lot of characters too. And one thing, me coming in, I am a big Overwatch fan as well as a Marvel fan. No surprise there. So bringing two things I really like together into one thing was really awesome. Made me really excited. The main difference between this and Overwatch is it's third person instead of a first person kind of game.
Right. Which I also like.
Yeah.
Because you just visually get more.
Yeah. I've been getting real frustrated because there is a lot of characters that are way OP that they definitely need to be nerfed. That people yeah, Iron Fist particularly that people are using a lot. A lot
I
of
think Moon
cheap
Knight's
stuff.
another one, yeah.
Yeah. Jeff is a big one. He's
Oh,
a
dude, the
healer,
shark?
but he's the biggest troll. Like,
Yeah.
his one ability is he can swallow up if they're all together, he can swallow up a whole team into like a
It's just like a pool of
and
water.
then shoot them out off the edge of the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's happened to
Yeah.
me a couple times.
I saw a video the other day. It was like they were just trolling, and it was a Jeff on each team. And
Yeah.
they were just like hanging out in the corner, just like dancing with each other and stuff. And there's just like pop heals here and there, and the whole teams are just fighting, and they're just fucking off somewhere in the corner. It was kind of funny, but I like when things like that happen. Like I saw a video, guy had Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, as you know, can do portals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing like the Jeff. You put a portal in front of the opener of the other team, and the other portal went straight off the map. And the whole team, even a couple people went twice.
Yeah,
and they all died immediately. He got like a 10 kill like seconds into the game. It was fucking awesome. Hilarious. Yeah. It's just funny, you know. Like I mean, people are gonna go way too hard with this and like try to get shit like that banned, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, does it suck that you probably like automatically lose if that happens to you? Yeah, but I mean, come on, man.
Yeah,
it's a video game, dude. Like, just have fun.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't have to be an esport. You know, it doesn't have to be about getting the highest ranks on everything. You know, go play Overwatch then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just fun. That's the main thing that I can say about it. I've been trying to get decent with a character from each kind of set. Like,
right.
So you got your tanks, your damage dealers, and your support. I've been trying to get better with Magneto for the tank. For damage, I do use Punisher. I use Moon Knight, which I want to try to branch out a little bit from that. And then the MS something Snow is the one healer.
Oh yeah.
For the support, I've been using a decent amount with her. But yeah, just having a lot of fun, a lot of angry fun sometimes. But it's just,
it comes with it.
Seeing all those different characters fighting off against each other is exciting.
Yeah, and they have dialoge and stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's like
just like in Overwatch, like they'll talk to each other and different things.
Yeah. So it's just a good time.
Yeah,
something to put in every once in a while when you don't want to play the serious games.
And they have a lot of really cool skins. Like that's what's cool about this being Marvel themed. They can bring in skins from other universes too. Like they've got skins for the movies now. They got some 2099 skins. All the ones based on this universe that this video game set in.
And that's the money dealer right there, because everyone has a favorite.
Yeah, and that's also my biggest complaint is the skins are really expensive.
Yeah. Yep.
So hopefully they can work that out. I doubt it, but
yeah, it's going to be there because people are going to pay it regardless.
I'll get the battle pass and get whatever one's from the battle pass, but I'm not spending $25 for a Spider-Man skin.
But that's the psychology behind all that, because they're like, oh, this is really expensive, but you can do this. It's not as expensive. And you're like, oh, yeah, and you still give your money. But you get more out of it in the long run. But there's, like every other game, there'll be a huge section of whales, and they will pump it out. So it is what it is, though. I mean, that's fine. Like nothing, like it's the age-old, it's just cosmetic. It's a flex. That's all it is. There's nothing coming from them. There's no benefits that your character sees or... I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and the only other negative thing, which they'll add more, is there's not a whole lot of game modes. Like there's your one main game, quick play game mode. There's ranked, and then there's like a team deathmatch kind of thing.
Right.
But that's all they really have. The team deathmatch thing kind of seems like an afterthought. But some more bigger game modes would definitely, to mix things up a little bit, would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and that comes with engagement, retention. Yeah. So hopefully people keep playing it, and we see more.
Yeah, and as of right now, I have every intention to keep playing, so I'm having a lot of fun with it. So
I would like to see it do things that is more Marvel centric than just like an Overwatch clone.
Mm-hmm.
Like new modes that like kind of pertain to the characters a little bit, maybe some space stuff, things of that nature.
Yep, definitely. So we'll probably talk about that more in the future as time goes by. Also, one thing we wanted to talk about is the Secret Level show for Amazon Prime came out. It's the show where it's basically a bunch of short films based on different video games. Warhammer, Dungeons and Dragons, Unreal Tournament, Mega Man, Armored Core, a lot of different franchises. I think there's an episode that has a lot of PlayStation characters in it too that I haven't gotten to yet. But just it's made by Blur Studios. They do a lot of the CGI cutscenes in video games that you've probably seen.
Yeah, everything looks phenomenal. I'm not gonna front. I haven't watched it yet. Work's been crazy. I haven't really had a chance to get into that, but everything I'm seeing online is just phenomenal.
Yeah. So you haven't
Everything
watched any of
Warhammer
it?
related looks sick. No, not yet.
Okay. Well, I'll keep it spoiler free. I've only watched.
No, go. I mean, if you want to talk about something, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, not a problem.
I haven't finished it myself, but I've watched a handful of episodes so far. Like I watched the D&D episode, the Sifu episode, the New World episode, the Unreal Tournament episode, and the Warhammer episode. I really like even like some of these games like New World. Like I started it once, but it's not really a game I play. But it was still a cool story and still cool like short film to watch. That's the one that had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Okay.
Basically, he wakes up on the beach. Have you played New World at all?
No, but from what I've seen from Secret Level, it makes me want to play it.
Yeah, I have it. I just didn't play with anybody. But in that game, you wake up on the beach because people are trying to get to this mystical island. Once you're there. You can't get off of it. But the main character wakes up and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's a king from an off-world that's trying to come here to conquer it. And then you find out in that game, like you don't die, you just come back to life. Like everyone there can't die. Right. So he's trying to become king of this island, and every time he like fights the current king, like he fights him for battle, and he keeps losing and dying and coming back, and then eventually he's like, I can't beat him, so they play a game like they play chess, and he gets wrecked by him in chess, and then like all this stuff. It was pretty cool. The D&D one was sick. And my main complaint, and this is for probably all of these, the story just ends. You don't really see what happens after, or it ends abruptly. But the D&D one was cool. That involved the fucking goddess of the evil dragons in D&D and all this shit. The Sifu one was cool.
Please tell me Warhammer.
Just a lot of fighting. The Unreal Tournament one was one of my favorites. It's basically showing like these robots in this world becoming self-aware, and like they know the people that run everything put them on the Unreal Tournament for the real people to kill, and like they keep rising up and getting better. It was really interesting. The Warhammer one was my favorite so far. That one was one that was guilty of just ending abruptly without knowing what happens next. But what happened in it was visually badass as fuck. Seeing these space marines fighting, Titus was there, obviously. This is kind of a sequel to the recent Warhammer Space Marine 2, because Titus is
it is. It's a direct continuation for it.
But they're basically they're taking this thing to a planet to do a thing, and then you find out what's in the box, and then they fight a thing, and then I that one I don't want to spoil because it was so awesome, so I'll let you watch that. Fine. But it was just really action packed and made you like know that the Space Marines are nothing to be fucked with.
I can I'll find some time and I'll
when you come over later, we'll watch it.
All right,
it's only like 15 minutes.
All right, that works. I was gonna say I can get through most of these. I just got to sit down some time and do it.
I just mean specifically, we'll watch the Warhammer one when you.
Oh yeah.
So
sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. The next one I started and get it finished was the one with Pac-Man. So we got more coming. I'm looking forward to the one with the PlayStation characters. I heard that one was kind of ended up being a disappointment.
Oh really?
Just because of the reasoning why they're there, you know.
Well, I get the feeling a lot of these are going to be a spark for the IPs to come back. I think that's in my head. That's why they end kind of abruptly, because they don't want to continue, story beats. Because if that gets a lot of reception, they can make a whole game out of it.
Yeah.
And they won't have the plot already spoiled. So
I'm looking forward to watching the Armored Core one because Keanu Reeves is in that one.
I can't wait for that one too.
Yeah. So we'll definitely talk about once we both finish the series. We'll talk about that one more. But from here, it's basically just straight up reviews, things that we've both read and watched. So we'll be able to give our full thoughts on these. The next thing that we wanted to talk about is we've been wanting to talk about some more comics, and this was one that we've already talked about on an earlier episode. There's a lot of time between each issue, so we figured it'd be good that since there's so much a gap, we can just talk about it whenever a new one comes out. But it's Aliens vs. Avengers #2. Which we both just read. We reviewed the first issue and loved it. We raved about it. And I really like this one too. Yeah, start just basic stuff. I will say the only bad thing, I thought there wasn't like anything crazy action that happened.
Yeah, just a lot of dialogue. Just I have a feeling it's going to be building up.
Yeah. See here. I did want to read. It has a recap for the first issue right at the beginning that I wanted to read, just to kind of catch everyone up here.
Okay.
So, we got David 8, a synthetic design designed personally by Peter Whalen, has turned on his creators and done what Whalen never would: harnessed a perfect killing machine. Pods of xenomorphs rain down on planets across the multiverse, and now they've invaded Earth. And humanity's last hope is a small city of survivors under the protection of the remaining Avengers. We got Bruce Banner, Carol Danvers, Tony Stark, Miles Morales, and Valeria Richard, daughter of the late Reed Richard and Stu Storm. She fell to the xenomorphs while trying to create a virus to wipe the aliens out. The face hunter that gestated inside her got loose in Avengers headquarters and attacked Miles. The current Spider-Man, only to be intercepted by the extraterrestrial creature already bonded with Miles, which was Venom, which we didn't know he was bonded with Venom before that happened. And as the xenomorph threat grows and their numbers dwindle, Earth's mightiest heroes must decide: do they abandon their home or to save what's left of humanity? And
there was a lot of action in that.
Yeah,
in that comic.
Yeah,
which I think like these variants of these characters are awesome so far. Like it's just no bullshit. You know, we're in the future. Shit is bleak, and everyone is just on point. You know, it's nice to see. It's not like just downtrodden heroes or anything like that. Like they're full on heroes still. They're trying to defend the planet from this alien invasion, and just well, I won't spoil it. You can go check out a review of it, but it doesn't go well.
Yeah. And there's a lot of reveals in this episode that just makes this whole thing feel better to me.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's not canon, but what they do is turn this into a multiverse thing where this is just an alternate universe. So
yeah,
fits
so like
better.
This did happen, you know, like this is happening, just not, you know,
and this
616.
This isn't a universe that has the Marvel universe combined with the Aliens universe. That's not even it either.
Right.
The androids, the David 8, which is a couple of them, they actually came from a different universe.
Yeah.
So this isn't them just shoehorning aliens in with Marvel. They weren't there to begin with. You find out that they're going to the different multiverses to destroy everybody, everyone that they can with the xenomorphs,
which is pretty insane.
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Just kind of going through to keep it. See here, because this issue they're basically like jumping back and forth a little bit, like 100 years in the past, and then 1,000 years, and then this is so it's like time jumps as well as multiverse jumps, and that's when they kind of just show you that this is all just coming from a different universe,
right?
Which is so nuts that they're just traveling the multiverse, bringing xenomorph bombs to destroy everyone.
And they just have this like huge dialogue of just talking about how they were finally created and how it's time to just start wiping everything out because it's just not, you know, the perfect life forms anymore. And
yeah, like the issue starts off with them going to whatever planet the engineers are on and be like, oh, that's crazy that they made us, and now look what we're doing. They just fucking wipe out
just
all of the engineers.
Yep.
And over 1,000 years, they work up this plan and then start going to the different universes to just basically destroy everyone, all living life on a multiverse level.
I do like the little part, like you were saying, how they kind of fit everything in and they don't just like shoehorn. Well, I mean, I guess it's a little bit of a shoehorn, but how the aliens were just already there on Earth, impregnated into the planet, like ready to rock and roll until they drop this, you know, so it's not like some like convoluted thing of, oh, the Avengers were in space and they came back and there happened to be an egg on the ship, you know?
Right?
MacGuffin like things, and it's just
exactly because
it's nice. It feels real.
Yeah, because then it moves on a little bit in the issue, and you see the reason that Wayland Industries is there to begin with is because they came to this universe and just bought out, like basically took over Stark Industries.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get to see Tony like negotiating things with them and how he's like, what did he say? Oh, he's like, do you know, have you ever heard of the term playing possum?
Yeah.
You know, and like he gives this whole breakdown of basically how he's been playing them. They just like have this huge back and forth and whatnot. And it's just, It's nice. I mean, the IP feels like so far it's definitely being taken care of.
Taken seriously.
Yeah.
Like they thought about making it feel like a good reason why these two franchises are together.
Yeah. And like the fact that like everyone's so collected about it and like accepting that this is a situation happening. It's not just some ass pool in like someone's dream or something. Like this is happening. We've gotten more scenes of Hulk lunging out of Avengers Tower in full destruction mode in these past 2 episodes than we've gotten, I think, in a long time.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and that happens right out because then it jumps to the current time to where they're at in the first issue at the end where they're fucked. They're almost gone. Xenomorphs are coming, and they finally decide that it's time to just fucking leave Earth.
Yeah, it's time to go. Tony's trying to keep everybody in because you find out that it's not, they didn't build a city, like a city. Like it's a rocket ship. It's a colony ship that they created.
And then built a city around it. Like it's all in the plan.
So they're trying to save the rest of humanity at this point. And all the heroes they're doing hero things. Yeah. And they're exploding all the barriers to be able to release, this colony ship. And who comes out of the smoke? Cap, with hundreds of people that he's trying to rescue.
Yeah, and they have I think they said like 1,400 on the colony ship of people that are left.
Yeah,
they think Cap, like everyone else that's not there, are dead already.
And I like they have dialogue with Bruce and Tony talking about that. Like, I was able to round up about 1,400 people. It should be enough for genetics to be able to like actually like move forward with like reproduction and this and that. And it's cool little details. I mean, it's just still, they're old. Like Tony's in a wheelchair, he's bald, like everyone's just like really old, but see, they still have their intelligence. They're still thinking about humanity. They have good ideas. And I'm really excited for next episode.
Yeah.
Because they have a little touch when they're about to take off later in the episode, talking about they're going to stop by Mars and tell all the mutants.
Yeah, so the mutants have already dipped out.
And I have a feeling they're not going to come to they're not going to find what they're looking for.
Yeah, there's not going to be just mutants hanging out on this other, but I guarantee the Xenomorphs made it there too.
Yeah. But either way.
But yeah, as far as the Cap thing, they have to take off. The Cap's over a mile away. And that's when you bring it up Hulk. He's like, I'm going to go.
Yeah, the hero always takes over.
He's not coming back.
Yeah. And Tony knows that too, because he starts yelling at him. He's like, we need your intelligence. Yeah. Like, we don't need the Hulk right now. We need Bruce Banner. And he's like, nah. Yeah. He's like, but Cap needs Hulk and the people need Hulk. Yeah. Because he has a bunch of people with him trying to get to this city. And there's a horde of alien xenomorphs just chasing them down, So
yeah, like I don't think he goes thinking he's going to help them. I think Hulk's going to die with his friend Steve.
Yeah. He's taking as many people or as many aliens out as he possibly can to make sure that ship can take off.
Here's the quote. Bruce is slowly walking up to the door. He's still old man. Tony's still talking to him. Bruce is about to go out the door, and then you see he turned into the Hulk, and he's getting ready to fucking launch his ass out. And Tony says, we're going to need your mind more than your might in the coming days, Bruce. Stay. And Bruce says, I can't do that, old friend. If I do, he flings himself out. I'll be a monster. So he basically, if he doesn't do this, then he's the monster everyone thinks that he is.
He went full circle.
Slams into the fucking ground. It starts ripping xenomorphs to shreds.
Oh yeah, the shots of like Cap throwing his shield, bouncing off all their heads, killing them, and he's just grounding and pounding his way through.
Yeah. So and Tony's just like, all right, time to go.
See ya.
He's even try to wait for them, but you can tell in the one of the last panels that they feel really guilty about it. They do make it off of the planet though, and then the very final page. What do we see? Somewhere else, something else is coming through a wormhole, and it's the engineers. They're not all dead, and they're the final page is a translation from what the engineers are saying, and it says infection. So I think the engineers are there to destroy everything, including anything besides the xenomorphs. They're pissed.
Dude, I'm so stoked. I think we're gonna get like a Avengers versus X-Men style throwdown at the end of this with all the left heroes and all the engineers and stuff.
Well, they talk about too a little bit in this, which is a known thing. The xenomorphs, after they get inside of whatever they're getting inside of, it depends on what their host is and what they look like and what they become. Right. So I want to see what a xenomorph looks like. They came out of a superhuman.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's what I think we're gonna get when they get to Mars. Like I think there's gonna be X-Men themed xenomorphs and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because it's aliens. Everyone dies in like I mean, that's just the course.
Yeah.
You know, not many people are gonna be left standing after this. I'm really pumped. It's interesting. I did like the little bit that when Tony is talking to the David Ape, he offers him a drink, you know, as a celebratory thing for turning over Stark Industries, and he just is like, no, I'm good. And then he explains how he's been setting him up. I thought that was a little nice nod to Tony Stark's character since he's dealt with drinking his whole life and all that. You could see like these characters are finally just over the hill. You know, they're full on.
Yeah.
Just like Bruce sacrificing himself. He didn't even think about it. He was like, no, I'm going to go kill things.
Yeah.
I'm going to go protect the person that cared about me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We only got 2 issues left. This is a 4-issue miniseries. So things got to start hitting the fan next issue for sure.
It's going down on Mars. 100% though.
I don't know when the 4th comes out. They only have 3 announced as far as release date. That's February.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when 4 is coming. That I'll just only assume it would be a couple months after that.
Yeah, probably springtime, right before summer.
Yeah.
So we'll keep up with that.
In time for the Aliens TV show.
Yes. The puzzle pieces are starting to fall.
Yeah. Still
not
a little
only
bit
we
confused why it's so spread out.
Well, they're probably trying to pace it to keep the IP in constant thought with all the merchandising and all that. Because it just so happens, you know, they're on Earth, they're attacking Marvel Universe, that drops, and now we get a TV show of aliens attacking, you know, Earth.
Right.
Or however that ends up going. So I'm pretty pumped. I love Aliens. I think Aliens has always been one of those IPs that you can just inject into anything and it always fits. So
yeah, they cross over with Predator and Terminator and everything. Batman and
it's like Venom, you know. It's just meteorite fell from the sky. Oh, now we have this, you know. So I hope this trend keeps going and we keep getting more crossovers.
For sure. Yep. So we'll definitely be reviewing the future issues for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Next thing that we were planning on talking about, we definitely have some catching up to do on this one because we've started reviewing the first episodes, which is Agatha All Along, which I don't know when which episode was that we reviewed last, but we'll just do an overall feeling of this. I really thought that it stuck the landing. Pondering time to thinking back on it since it's been over. I thought this was a really good series. It got really emotional and like serious towards the end. Basically, what we've reviewed up to so far, we all know that they went to the Witch's Road and they're all trying to go get either the powers back or get something that they want and all that kind of stuff. They've been doing all the different trials.
Right. I think that's where we stopped. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. I think when Billy awakens, essentially, is where we stopped last.
Yeah, you finally find out that Billy is confirmed to be Wiccan. They haven't been saying his name this whole time, and you finally find that it's Billy. That's when things start really twisting.
Which I didn't. Yeah. I'll be honest, I didn't really jive with their whole explanation of that in the beginning. But it's kind of like an Aliens Avengers thing. I do appreciate it a little bit more now because they took actual twins. They took the kids and they actually brought them into the universe. Mm-hmm. It's not like they've always been there and just Wanda just never knew about it somehow. Vision never, you know, they're from a different, you know, verse in the multiverse, and their souls.
I don't think that is it.
Really?
I think it's the kids that she made in Westview.
Oh yeah. That's I'm sorry.
She obviously made.
She created. Yeah. I'm sorry. She created new versions of them, and then through magic, their souls got transferred into people who died.
Yeah.
In that moment, and they created new people out of them.
They basically so it's not took like over these other kids that have died.
Yeah, it's not a complete ass pull, you know. So it worked. I think at the end.
I thought that was I think it's essentially what happens in the comics. I'll have to
read
back up with it, but it's essentially the same vibe.
Okay. Because that's the only thing that really makes sense, unless she had kids with someone else, you know. So
right. So yeah, and then that's basically after Billy realized who he was and learned about learned about the Witch's Road. So he's going there to try to find Tommy. Basically, he feels that Tommy is somewhere. And then you know, the different trials happen. Most of the characters die throughout this, except for Agatha, Billy, and as you find out, Death, the Green Witch, was played by Aubrey Plaza, is actually Death, and she looks awesome.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job with that. The CGI was pretty.
Yeah,
and their little fight scene at the end, throwing all the magic hands and stuff, and that was pretty. I mean, the effects of it were not outlandish, and it fit the show. They got through Agatha's backstory eventually.
Right. That's that's what I was going to get into. The whole Witch's Road thing isn't even real.
It's not real.
You find out when Agatha, like years ago, was going to lose a kid, and Death shows up and was like, I'll let you have a little bit more time. Yeah. And basically, while she was with her kid, she made up the song to trick other witches, thinking that they're going to go to the Witch's Road, when in reality, she just is tricking them all to try to kill her so she can suck all her power out.
And then you get the full circle with Billy realizing he created the Witch's Road. Yeah. Like his power and mind alone created the whole show.
Yeah, because he has powers like Wanda where he can change reality. So basically, this entire time, Agatha knew that the Witch's Road wasn't real, but never said anything to anyone. Yeah, and was just going along with it this whole series.
Which is funny.
She didn't really know why at first. Right. I think that was part of it. But
and I feel like throughout it, I mean, because I went back and watched a couple scenes and stuff, and she I don't know if it's like an acting thing or they made it intentionally, but going back and rewatching it, you can tell that she was pretty much surprised and confused the whole time.
Yeah.
And just not letting on to that. Because the first time you watch it, she just seems kind of overconfident. And in reality, it's you see the facial cues and stuff and all that. And it's she was just kind of going at her pants too. Because every time they're like, we need your help, you know what's going on. She's just I don't, you figure it out, because she didn't actually know.
Yeah. Yeah, her whole intention was to kill these witches this entire time,
which is good.
Son, and she just doesn't give a fuck anymore. She just wants power.
Yeah, because she was a villain.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that she continued to be a villain, not have this moment of clarity. I should be better. No, she wholeheartedly was going to murder everybody.
Yeah.
So, then Billy almost ended up being the one doing it. Well, I guess Billy was the one that ended up murdering pretty much everybody. So.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yep. You just find out that he's making it this whole time. But Agatha does kind of get a heart kind of towards the end to save Billy, where basically Death is upset that the whole concept of Billy being alive is basically a disgrace against nature. Right. She wants to take him. She says she's owed a soul. So Agatha sacrifices herself instead of him. So
after a pretty decent fight scene too.
Yeah. Which I thought was cool because I like she is a villain, yes, no one can argue that, but the character development through and then especially learning that she was trying to kill them, and then everyone slowly started becoming a tribe, I guess, or a coven, right? And then getting to know each other, and then her sacrificing herself, it was a cool, really cool seeing all that.
I like seeing her as a ghost in the end too.
Yeah,
Billy's looking around his room and he's realizing that all the things that happened in the Witch's Road was because of his bedroom. The record player had the music. There was the different toys and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good time to mention that she comes back as a ghost.
And I'm curious to see if they continue that, because if we get a situation where Billy's just walking around but has a little ghost Agatha partner, kind of going through his life with him, that would be an interesting
and it's
take on that.
Also accurate to the comics, because in the comics Agatha was a ghost for a while. Yeah, not with Billy specifically, but she was a ghost, and then eventually came back to life. But
we'll see. I mean, they got some good bones for something there. So hopefully they actually continue that.
Yeah, and then we know that Tommy's soul did end up getting into somebody. We don't know who yet. So basically Billy and Agatha at the end are going to go find Tommy.
So hopefully, I mean, maybe a season 2 or maybe a whole new project that brings them in.
Yeah. Maybe it ties into the next Doctor Strange. Who knows?
Well, that's true. That could be a possibility.
There's so many openings to where this can go. It's interesting.
Right. Yeah. Because that they've kind of been in the background foreshadowing new Avengers. So, I mean, or Young Avengers rather.
Yeah.
So that's going to come into play eventually.
Yeah. So we got Billy and Tommy. We got Kate, Stature, I guess Miss Marvel, I guess America Chavez. They're not original Young Avengers.
Hulkling.
Yes. Well, they haven't showed
Or
anything
not
with him
Hulkling,
yet.
but
Scar.
Scar, yeah.
Which he wasn't a Young Avenger, but it's whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and then we
I guess he came more like agents.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah.
We also have Patriot was a possibility with was it Josiah? What's the you know I'm talking about, the Black Captain America?
Yeah.
The one that got he's going to be in the new Captain America movie. His grandson.
Oh, yeah.
Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Yeah, his grandson they showed in Falcon the Winter Soldier show. I'm sure Ironheart would probably be a runner-up for that.
So there's some good bones there. We'll see what comes out of that.
Yeah. So I know I heard rumors that there was going to be a Young Avengers movie and then it got canceled. Now it's going to be a show. Yeah. I don't know anymore. They have to bring him in eventually.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. You know, they got so clustered with all these different heroes and stories, and they probably rolled it all back and kind of started restructuring everything because now we have all the new Avengers movies coming and stuff, and that wasn't specifically planned or anything. So there's probably been a lot of rocks tumbling down that mountain.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get Iron Lad, unfortunately, because that was just in the comics. Iron Lad ended up being an alternate timeline Kang when he was a kid.
Yeah. So I'm sure that was part of it somewhere. It's probably not anymore.
Yeah. So. They'll probably put in Riri as the placeholder for an Iron Man. The only person we're really missing at this point is Hulkling, and that will definitely be coming because Hulkling and Wiccan are together. So that's a big part of both their stories. So he has to be showing up eventually.
Maybe that could be like like one of those like end of season or whatever, like big, happenings. Like he shows up with him at the end. Yeah. Like he's mentioned all through the show or something.
Yeah. Hulkling is half Skrull, half Kree. So I'm curious how they're going to handle that.
Yeah, that's right. He's not even a Hulk. He's just like.
He just calls himself Hulkling and makes him look. He's a shapeshifter, basically.
Yeah. That's right.
He just makes him so because Wiccan, like when they first showed up, Wiccan was actually the Asgardian. He made himself look like he was Thor's counterpart.
Okay.
Hulkling tried to make him seem like a Hulk when he actually wasn't, and different stuff like that. It was just a slight twist. Patriot wasn't even a super soldier like Cap. He was taking mutant hormone formula. Really? It's like a drug that gives you temporary mutant powers. Okay. So he was taking that to get super strength to pretend to be like he was a super soldier. So definitely not everything's not as it seems when it comes to the Young Avengers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that works though, because it's like a new generation. A lot of people who looked up to superheroes and want to be like superheroes. So it's fitting.
Right.
But it would be interesting to see if we did get Kang, but not as Kang yet, but like if they kind of started rebuilding that storyline a little bit.
Yeah.
I would like to see that because Kang is an interesting character. What they did with him, my personal opinion, wasn't the favorite, but what can be done with them, because they didn't kill him or anything for once, thank God.
Yeah.
Before he left the screen, so he can't come back.
The Council of Kangs and shit is still a thing. So
yeah, so they might have just backseated that for a little bit and come back to it.
Yeah,
because I think the way they're going with Secret Wars and Doomsday and all that kind of stuff, I think that's the better choice.
Yeah.
Which, if we get, because I saw that there's a lot of confirmation coming out with old Steve Rogers coming back to the fold. If we get Secret Empire, Steve Rogers with Doomsday or Doctor Doom, Tony Stark,
that would be cool. Like an alternate,
absolute, absolute peak. I can just see it now. Like it's all unfolding, and then you see Cap come out of nowhere, and everyone freaks out, and they're like, this ain't the same Cap we know. And he's just starts busting heroes up.
Yeah, dude. Just like Cap somebody.
And it would pay homage to when they go back through Endgame, when they're in New York again, and he's in the elevator. They have the scepter, and he says Hail Hydra to all of them in the elevator to like keep them at bay. That would just pay that moment off so big.
Yeah.
God, Secret Empire is just so good. And Spidey, like if we got like a full-on Spidey Cap fight, like real on, because I don't know if you saw with Sony, like all the stuff going down. I don't know how confirmed it is, so take grain of salt. But apparently Sony's looking to sell after all the terrible movies that they've been putting out.
Yeah,
Craven is the worst. apparently.
Yeah, they've all been shit, bro.
Yeah. Can't have Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. Period. That's all I'm going to say about it. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry. Why would Craven be there if Spider-Man wasn't there?
Yeah, dude. And he's
who's he hunting?
He's
Like, you know what I mean? It's always
animals. He's like the animal's superhero or some shit, dude.
I said that movie. See, that's one of those times. People got mad at me because they said Craven's going to be shit before it came out. I'm like, look at the track record. You know, I'm just going off what I see, and guess what? It was shit. So sorry for everyone of the 3 people that like that movie. Sometimes it's shit, and it's okay. But if we needed this moment for Spidey to come back to Marvel, fine, burn it all down with fire. Because I want Spidey, I want Miles, Peter, you know, Spider-Gwen. That would be awesome to have her come back. You know, in live action.
Right.
Have what's her face? Emma Stone replay her role, but as like a superhero. That'd be sweet, you know.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I feel like in the Secret Wars that'd be cool to have her like in a one-off, her being Spider-Gwen from a different universe.
Yeah. Use it as like a stepping stone for the franchise. See what garners all this attention and go with it, you know. But you can't do it, you know, because of licensing and rights and all this bullshit. Hopefully, because that's a lot of characters. I mean, there's a ton of characters if they get the rights to the Spider-Verse back.
Oh, yeah.
They could do all sorts of shit. That'd be sick. Tom Hardy's Venom. I've grown to like Tom Hardy as Venom.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more of that.
How good the movies are, him and being Venom is good, I think.
Yeah. I think the character arc for his character was pretty good. And I like their Venom. Venom, it didn't stick the landing for me at first, but eventually it got there. And I kind of like the comedic side of it and stuff. But back to Agatha. What do you think? Out of 5?
4.
I'll give it a solid 4.
Yeah. I thought it was real good. Like the problem with a lot of these shows, they don't feel like super well thought out, you know?
Yeah.
But like with the twist and like you going back and watching it from the beginning, you can see how it wasn't quite what it seemed at first, and it ties all together, and it was just so good.
It completely took me by surprise at the end with the whole Billy creating everything and stuff, and it makes so much sense, and it feels like it shouldn't have, but that's good storytelling. You know,
and the show's literally called Aga All Along.
Yeah,
it was her all along. It's not even a real road. Yeah,
like she just made everything up. So it kept to her villain origins. It didn't do some goofy shit. You know, she was murdered, or she was setting people up to get murdered pretty much the whole time. That was
I went from first hearing about it to being, why does this need to be a thing, to this is one of my favorite MCU shows.
I agree. And that's from someone who has no idea about Agatha, never really cared about the twins, didn't really know much about Young Avengers, and that kind of stuff. So it's like, I think this is good way to introduce things.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say about it is I thought Wiccan's superhero costume looked really sick. It looked pretty faithful to his comic costume.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And didn't do any crazy outlandish opener for him and anything. Everything just stayed very grounded to the story. That's the kind of stuff I like. So
yep. So hopefully we'll get more with those characters in the future. Just a last thing to talk about. We're gonna end this with a little bit of Star Wars. One of the biggest Star Wars shows have been going on the past couple weeks, and we haven't talked about it. So this is our time to kind of talk about. There's been 4 episodes that have dropped so far. Episode 5 comes out on Tuesday.
6 out of 5.
Skeleton Crew.
6 out of 5. I love this. Is one of my favorite Star Wars stories that they've done live action at the whole of Star Wars. 100%.
It just feels different. Like we've talked about it a bunch on the side, but like it feels very Goonies, E.T., those old Amblin style movies. You know, I'm a huge Goonies fan. I have a Goonies tattoo on my leg, and obviously a huge Star Wars fan. Just those two vibes together is great.
Yeah, it's just fresh. It gives a different perspective of what's going on in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And it's all uncharted territories. No one ever thought about doing anything like this. Yeah. It's always lightsabers and the Force, and
there's a
mystery. It's nice to get a break. Yeah, it's good to get a break from Skywalkers and everything going on, and just get a nice, refreshing tale of just. It gives me like big Rebels vibes, not in the sense of like Rebels what they're doing, but like the sense of like having Kanan,
smaller scale.
Yeah, Kanan, Ezra, like the kid and the adult dynamic, and trying to like go back and forth, and he's in the main character. What was it? Gerard? Is that how you say his name?
Listen, I'm going to talk about how much I love this show, but I don't remember anyone's names except for
Yeah.
Neil.
Yeah, dude, Neil. I think we're getting set up to see something with Neil. As goofy as it may be, but
Yeah.
he's the most Jedi I like out of all of them.
Yeah.
This last episode, he's like had this whole breakdown with the girl on the planet about like keeping peace and not fighting and all this and that. I was like, yo, like he pretty much just said all the teachings in one shot.
Yeah. Yeah. What I like the most about it is that even though it's all set in the world of Star Wars, they make it feel like how we liked Star Wars as a kid. And like the main characters even like reading stories about Jedi, and him and Neil pretend lightsaber fight at the bus stop. Like it feels like it's us as kids, but it's also in Star Wars at the same time. And it's whole because they're from a planet that no one even knows exists anymore. That's part of this big mystery where they find a ship. You know, it's all kids, you know, living their lives on a planet. This planet assigns everyone their own jobs based on these big tests. The kids do not give a fuck about any of that. The main character just wants to go on an adventure. He accidentally finds a ship, a buried ship, which they, you know, accidentally turn on and leave the planet. But like,
it was a pirate ship.
They want to go back, but they can't because there's no records of any course to their planet or where their planet is or anything. And so basically they've been hiding, like they don't know that Alderaa's blown up. They don't know that the Empire's taken over. They're still using Old Republic credits, which
like they're specifically hidden.
Old Republic, yeah,
they were specifically hidden with barriers around the planets. That's why they mentioned they've never seen stars before. You know, it's because they're hidden from the whole. It's good, like you said. They give nods to everything that's happened and going around, but it doesn't pertain. Like the kids are just like, what are you talking? You know, if they were to bring any of that up, like, what are you talking about? Like, I have no idea what that is. Like,
I think all the kids are interesting. The main one I think is a little bit whiny, but I'm hoping that some character development fixes that for me. Neil, which is the only like alien looking of all the kids, he looks like this blue elephant boy. He's awesome. He's so endearing. Both of the girls are interesting and fun. I think the dynamic between the two boys and the two girls is really cool. And then you get like, then you meet in the ship. There's a droid that's basically like a pirate, voiced by Nick Frost, that joins them. And then the second episode, they get to, or I don't know if it's the second or the end of the first. Jude Law's character shows up, which you know that he was part of the pirate crew, but he also has like the Force, and he's pretending to be a Jedi, but we know he's not a Jedi. And
Jod.
Jod
is his name.
A lot of people were really sus of him, but like he seems sus, but also like he still seems like he kind of cares, but he's definitely trying to pull some shit at the same time. I'm curious to see where this is all going.
But it's like, even though he is hiding things, nothing feels malicious. You know, it just feels like fate just kind of brought them together, which is very Star Wars.
He's definitely doing something selfish, but I don't think that he wants anything bad to happen to the kids necessarily.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about it. It just feels very different in terms of like, there's no high stakes. You know, there's just these kids on a spaceship just trying to figure out how to get home.
Exploring Star Wars just like we did if the same thing happened to us.
No, like you have nods. Like in the last episode, they're on that moon planet talking to an owl that has all the star charts and stuff. She calls the Republic, and X-Wing start like showing up, trying to like rescue the kids. I mean, they're trying to keep them
awesome. I thought she was really cool looking.
Yeah. So it's like things like that. You know, there's no like that character doesn't mean anything. You know, she could be put into stuff elsewhere later on that could have more importance. You know, because it seems like a pretty important character. Like she just has every star map of like every planet ever, like in the catalog. So I mean, I don't know. How would he know that? You know, there's a lot of like things with Jod's character that point that he was at one point part of the Force, like or part of the Jedi to some extent. I don't think he was ever an actual Jedi.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like a Caden situation.
Yeah.
Where he probably was like maybe a Padawan learning when all that shit happened. So he got to learn a little bit of the Force, but never became like a Jedi, let alone a master or anything.
Right.
And he just kind of grew up and became a pirate after all that shit went down.
Yeah, because that literally happens in Rebels for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the good run, Ezra leaves and like he like has a fit or whatever with Kanan, and he ends up meeting I forget what his name was, but he ends up like making a whole new identity and doing this and trying to like do pirate stuff, and he realizes that, this isn't the way.
Yeah.
So I just like all the nods. There's just a lot of nods. I mean, the kids are doing Duel of the Fates in the beginning of the movie. They don't even know it. Like it's just, I don't know. It's good. There's nothing. I don't have any problems with this show.
Yeah, I will say the last episode 4 was a little bit slow. I think they're starting to get to where something needs to happen.
Yeah, they're breaking Jod out of whatever he's hiding.
Yeah, the whole like people that lived on that planet where like even kids are adults. Yeah, like that felt a little weird.
That was a little weird.
I appreciated the character development with Neil and the girl, but it felt very rushed and not paid off, and just
it was a little off.
Yeah,
when the one leader was like, "Yeah, we treat our kids like adults, so we give them that respect," and then he made all the kids stand out in front of them when they were about to go to war. And that's a little wild.
Yeah,
but it's nice because they're getting exposed to different things, in the universe, and they're seeing a place that was named almost just like them. They thought it was going to be their home world. It looks. They even say when they get off the ship, they're like, "Wow, this looks exactly like our home world."
But like dilapidated. There's like the towers and stuff,
but it's just destroyed.
Yeah.
So like it's good that the kids, and that's why I really like. I didn't really like Neil until this episode, and then they gave him such like a character moment with all that, trying to like explain to this girl like, you don't need to fight necessarily. Like you don't have to kill each other. You can be peaceful and find a different way. And she was just like, what are you talking about? Like, there is no other way besides to keep fighting. Like, no, it's not true at all. He's like, I come from a place where like we have snacks and families, and like I want to get back there really bad. I miss my family. I miss being able to go to school and this and that, and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, that was real. I mean, that was a real situation for that character, and he handled it pretty well.
Yeah.
Except for his hair. Whoever did his hair in the CGI really bothered me. But besides that, his little strands blowing in the wind off put me a little bit, but it's good.
Yeah, that was cool seeing that stuff. And the end, it gave a little bit of a reveal. Like there was maps in this tower, and like there was a map for their planet, but someone destroyed it. And then you find out that the droid is some involved in it somehow, and they unlock his memories, and he tries to kill them all. And
yeah, well, they said it because like it was their crew, the pirate or the droid's crew, SM-33, that found it, and that he was commanded to destroy that pillar, so he couldn't find it, and that if anyone got to the point where they got to that droid and made him remember what happened, he just had an auto kill, thing put in place, and he just started trying to murder the kids immediately.
Yeah, so I'm definitely
they're getting close.
Forward to seeing more about this mystery for sure.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've like been like, okay, it's almost Tuesday, or it's almost Thursday or Saturday. I'm actually like on board, 100%.
Yeah,
and it's weird to say that with a show that's pretty much geared for someone a lot younger than me.
Yeah,
but it's just done well.
Yeah, and it's relaxing to not have like something that has big high stakes and shit like that. It's just a story that also is in the same universe. And I think this all takes place around the same time as the Mando too, because some of those pirates were in Mandalorian season 3.
Right. So you still have that connection to the other worlds, but you just, like you said, there's no high stakes. There's no canon breaking moments, that get crazy or breaking lore or any of that. There's no one saying like, oh yeah, I was around since this, I feel like they're kind of starting to get away from that little drip feed of like, care about this person because they had some interaction with someone else,
or like some big reveal of the Jedi that's going to take place in the far. Like it made you think that at first, like, because the kid was like, "This is a Jedi temple. We're going to find out Jedi."
Right?
Like, no, it's just a crash ship.
Yeah, it's just a ship.
Yeah,
he's freaking out. He sees Jod move keys around. He's like, "Oh, he's a freaking Jedi. He knows." And like, or he has a good sense of hearing. Could hear someone coming around the corner. Like it gives that little bit more of a realistic take, because people aren't just based around Jedi anymore. It's just normal people.
Yeah.
Jedi are kind of like a Christmas or like a story that you tell people now.
Another thing too that I think could be about Jod, maybe he wasn't part of the Jedi. Maybe they make a big deal, that any like the Force is in anything.
Yeah.
He could have be Force sensitive, and his Jedi just never found him, and he just learned to look at the Force on his own.
That's true. I mean, that's a possibility too. Or he could have been bad, like around bad people, and he learned to not be that way or something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways they can go with that.
Yeah.
And not just make him the next, Luke or whatever, he can just be a dude.
Right.
That just happens to know how to flip keys.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really good. It's just what I wanted it to be. Something like that, especially around the holidays. It's just fun to have something to watch.
And I just like how, like it's a show that I'm not sitting there being like, oh, I hope they don't do this, or I hope they do that, or to help the story or this or that. I wonder what's going to happen next. And it's nice to feel your muted. Right. It's nice to feel that way, and not have to sit there and watch every little thing and analyze it and then overanalyze it, then go online and be like, was I right about it or this or that? And it's Blue Elephant just traveling the galaxy. Yeah. But Neil is definitely stealing the show a little bit, I think, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, not really. Yeah, I could, out of all of them, if anyone gets becoming force sensitive, it's definitely going to be Neil for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely given that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're definitely going to be reviewing this whole series. We'll have another episode that drops before next week, so we can talk about the next episode next week too when we do the other stuff. But 2 thumbs up for me so far.
Oh yeah, 100%. 3 thumbs up if I could give it.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else about it that you want to talk about before we wrap this shindig up?
No, we can go ahead and close the curtain on this one.
Okay.
We pretty much got it all out.
Yeah, and look forward to, like I said, we'll do the next episode next week, so we'll be staying on this, learning everything together as it goes.
Yeah. So, well, until next time, my friend.
Yeah, I definitely would also, since this is going to release before Christmas, want to wish everyone watching a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Yep. And we'll see you next week for the roll into the new year, the new episode, and everyone have a good one.
For your holidays, Happy New Year's.
Check out the socials and the Facebook.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Later.
Later.